you the news. Printed the info, we gave you the clues. Owners' profits were always sky high. Changing market now threatens our lives. Post-literation, critical reading, dumbed down nation, signs have been breeding. TV sucking ideas from our head. Public discourse just about dead. We'll ride the dinosaur. Yeah, ride the dinosaur.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Valley Indy 2026 Great Give Marathon live stream. My name is Eugene Driscoll of valleyindy.org. That's an online newspaper, online nonprofit newspaper launched in 2009, 17 years old as of April. In internet years, that makes us 1,070 years old, believe it or not. Been around for a long time in terms of internet time, right? Very happy to be joining you. Jasmine will be in shortly. I started the stream a little earlier than I had talked with Jasmine, but she'll be in shortly. She is the other full-time employee here at the Valley Independent Sentinel. We do have a pretty loaded schedule today. There's Jasmine. Welcome. So we have 9 a.m. at the top of the hour. I'm going to play a pre-taped video I did with St. Vincent de Paul Thrift Shop and Pantry. That's a really good one. Then at 9:30, we have a pre-taped interview with Seymour Food to Kids. That's a great organization. At 10 a.m., Susan Agame of Spooner House. 11 a.m., Sarah Pereira of Belandia, another Seymour-based nonprofit. Sorry to give you my ugly profile, but I got to look over here on the other screen. What else we got going on today? Well, that gets us through sort of the first half of the day. So it is the Great Give, and if you're unaware, the Great Give is a 36-hour online fundraiser. It was created by the Community Foundation for Greater New Haven. Locally in the Naugatuck Valley, the towns that the Valley Independent Sentinel covers, there are 65 nonprofits participating. So you name a nonprofit, most likely you can find it at thegreatgive.org. So if you want to donate to the nonprofit of your choice, go to thegreatgive.org, search up the name in the search box, or you can also go, I just want to make sure it's still at the top of the page. If you go to valleyindy.org right now on your desktop or laptop, you'll see under extra Valley nonprofits in the Great Give. If you click that story, you will see direct hyperlinks to every single Valley-based organization participating today. Click a link, make a donation if you are so inclined. I can start I'll play a quick, I don't know if I'd call this a video. I'm not a videographer, but I did create a little screen share that highlights all the local nonprofits participating. In addition to the 65 in the Naugatuck Valley, there's well over 200. I'm not even sure what the exact number is participating regionally, in the greater New Haven area. It's a wonderful event. I had a blast doing interviews yesterday. We hung out here until about 11:45 last night. and we were sort of hallucinating at the end of it. But it's great to be back, and let's watch that list real fast. And by the way, music by Jasmine Wright, who has appeared. Welcome to the Great Give live stream, Jasmine Wright. How the heck are you?
Hello, I am great. How are you this morning?
I'm doing all right. You know, I decided to go. I know I said I would go live right before 9 a.m., but I dropped my son off at school and decided to just come on in and then get some sort of not bookkeeping. I don't know what you'd call it, but I wanted to make sure this stream is also on valleyindy.org. So this is available on Valley Indy YouTube, Valley Indy Twitter, Valley Indy Facebook. I should probably share the stream now that I think about it, and valleyindy.org itself.
Yeah, I know you got the jump because I thought I was about to beat you here, and then as I approached the door of our office, I hear, oh, we're already live.
Oh, could you hear me screaming? Am I talking that loud?
No. Like I was right outside the door.
I wonder all the neighbors are giving us weird looks. I'm screaming. But yeah, it is the Great Give, and we're going to be live probably till late 45, 9 o'clock. We're also covering, even though Jasmine and I are going to be here, Gene Falbo-Sosnovich, the great Gene Falbo-Sosnovich, is going to be indisposed. But we do have a freelance writer covering a Seymour ZBA meeting tonight. So we're doing it all, right? We're fundraising. We're trying to raise awareness to other nonprofits, and somehow we're going to cover the news.
We're wearing a lot
tonight.
of hats.
Right. And, everything at the Valley Indy is free, right? All our articles are free. We ask for your support once a year, and this is the time we do it. We use the Great Give as our annual reader drive. There's other opportunities. Our YouTube page is monetized. You can join that for $3 a month, and you can get access to members-only videos on our YouTube page, and then special emojis, right? You got to pay $3, and there's a really unflattering emoji of me back in the pandemic when I was wearing bandanas and I had a ridiculous handlebar mustache. But maybe that'll come back. Maybe if we can hit our goal today, I'll grow my ridiculous mustache back, right? I think it was somewhat popular in an infamous way. But I'm going to share my screen right now, and let's check out to see how we're doing, right? We're trying to raise 10 grand, which is easier said than done, right? 10 grand in 36 hours. I'm going to share the page, but people have been very, very generous. We are 82% of the way there. When we left last night at 11:45 p.m., we were at about 76%. So thank you to the people who have donated between midnight and 8:30 a.m. right now. I should also mention that as this is now day 2 of the Great Give, there are these things called prizes where if you donate at between certain times, you can make your money go further by basically, wait, let me just read it because I can feel myself venturing off into a weird tangent. But the early bird prize, any organization getting at least one donation between 8 a.m. and 9 a.m. could get an extra $1,000. So if you want to throw a couple of bucks at the Valley Indy, it's donate.valleyindy.org. And by doing so, you may be able to get us an additional $1,000 from the community foundations that sponsor this event every year. So I want to say some quick thanks to some people who have donated in the last whatever. Okay, I am there?
Yes.
So, and you can see our donation levels real quickly. If you can give whatever you want. You can give as little or as much as you want. We are, what are we? We're like under $2,000 away from the goal. So we're looking to, reach that $10,000 mark by 8 p.m.
$1,796 remaining.
$1,796. Okay, that's what we have to go. So $25 gives you'll buy us a couple of beers. $50. Freedom of Information Warrior. We do believe in the freedom of information, the public's right to know. It's probably the I would admit a bias there. We lean towards letting the public know as opposed to backroom deals and secret blah 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 paranoia. $100. You're our Valley Bureau Chief. $200 makes you a cynical editor, and the big $500 donation means you've seen enough to know you've seen too much. And we do have 2 $500 donations so far. David Salinas of High People Derby, the cannabis dispensary, donated $500 during quite frankly, a pretty wild interview as far as great give interviews go last night. He was on, I guess that was part 3 at 9:00 last night. It was very open. And because you feel, all right, it's 9:00. I feel like I'm taking up this guy's time, but actually we were going to end the interview and we went another half hour. It was an interesting ride. We also, shout out to Rick Dunn, who gave $1,000 last night. So Rick Dunn, Derby resident, has been a giant supporter of the Valley Independent Sentinel, and he's rocking a great hairdo.
Oh yeah, that was awesome.
I'm sitting here and I can see my hair receding as I'm talking. I can feel myself getting chubbier and the hair going back. It is what it is, right? I'm not winning any beauty contests, as Dolores Claiborne famously said. But all right, so then but Rick's looking great.
Oh, and also Tom Harbinson last night.
Oh, did I not mention Tom? Yeah,
he had a $500 donation.
Oh, I apologize. Yes, the great Tom Harbinson, who well, I don't know if I want to dox him. But he's he I don't even know. He's not in the area at the moment. So recent donors, we have an anonymous donation of $100. That's got to be brand new. We've got Brian Coons. I used to work with Brian Coons at the News Times at Danbury. He was great. He covered Yukon when I started at the paper. And so he's a great writer. And then he became an editor at the paper. We got Beth C. Thank you very much. Brian Spears, Jasmine. That is my only friend on planet Earth. We grew up together, literally 2 houses from each other. I've known the guy literally since preschool. Like my earliest memories, it's me and Brian Spears. So he's the one guy that has stuck with me my entire life. Shout out Mr. Spears. He's also a special effects makeup artist. He worked on all the Netflix Marvel shows when they were on, before the Disney Plus stuff. He worked on Smile. He was part of that crew. He's worked on a billion New York City-based television productions. Most recently, something with David Schwimmer, and go look him up on IMDb. He's the real deal. Susan Harrow, thank you very much for your donation. Mr. Andrew Backlick, and these are all very fresh. This is all this morning, I believe. Thank you very much for your donation. We have an anonymous donation, and then we have Mr. Randall Ritter. Thank you for your donation. This one was overnight. Richard Rawlinson, thank you very much for your donation. Anonymous, and now we're getting into some ones that were made last night before we ended our stream on day 1. We were live yesterday for about 16 hours, I think, Jasmine, you said, right? You did the math.
Yeah, around 16.
Susan and Stephen Riley, Mr. Russ Abraham, and there you have High People and Rick Dunn. So thank you very much, and probably there's the Thomas Harbison one. We have Christine Curtis, an anonymous donation, Richard Donovan, Joseph DiMartino, who's going to be on today, I think at 1:00. I don't want to misstate the time. Excuse me. Yeah, we're going to have Derby Mayor Joseph DiMartino and Finance Director Brian Hall on at 1 p.m. So, and hey, look, anybody that comes on today, we're just going to turn it over to you because we're out of questions. We're literally out of questions. So we have a packed agenda, and we're going to turn it over. And Joseph DiMartino can totally use this to his advantage because we're not going to have any follow-ups. Our brains are fried. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But
so that's that. Donate.valleyindy.org. I'm going to stop sharing that.
And I was just going to say thank you to everyone who's donated so far. You are helping us keep the lights on. The lights are off right now, but that's because
we got our ring lights going.
Yep. You're keeping the ring lights on.
We're going to hear something, Jeff. People cannot hear that. I wanted to play a video. This This showed up in my memories. You know how Facebook I don't know if I want to say this out loud because I mean Facebook is very good to us in terms of marketing, but they, the way they manipulate you by throwing up memories. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I want to share with people a memory that popped up for me. This was from May 3rd, 2016. I mean, hopefully people could see it. I'm not 100% sure because the permissions on Facebook. This is actually someone else's video, but it was on my thing. So let me see if this works. Jasmine, let me know if you see a adorable toddler in front of a laptop. Anything?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So this was my daughter, Emma. I don't know. She was young here, right? She's in 7th grade now. But this was her at the beginning of The Great Give, former Valley Indy reporter, and Ethan Fry did back in the day. And we were live. This is when we went live through the day and night. So here's my daughter.
That was the one-stop depository for all information. So I know how hard it is to get people to know about your events. But I, as a resident of Derby, stuff that goes on, like
He can't hear you.
raising a kid. That was the one-stop.
So there you go.
That's awesome.
Right? We're sacrificing time, we're sacrificing news stories, and I totally traumatized my daughter who couldn't figure out what was going on there. Just wanted me to come home during the Great Give, however many years ago that was. A little trip down memory lane, Jasmine,
Mm-hmm.
And at the top of the hour, like I said a couple of minutes ago, I'm going to be playing a pre-taped interview I did with St. Vincent de Paul Thrift Shop and Pantry. It's very important, Great Give for that organization. We've had a decent amount of food pantries on. It's going to continue today because food insecurity, as it was last year, there's even a higher demand as prices go up and gas prices go up. So we've made it a point to carve out a space for organizations like St. Vincent de Paul, which is on Roosevelt Drive in Derby. And they're expanding. I mean, the demand is so great. They're actually expanding. I'm going to cough, Jasmine. Go vamp.
Good morning, world. Welcome back, Eugene.
Yeah, I think I picked up, I don't know. I feel like I need albuterol because I've been, I don't know if it's breathing in like this microphone or I've never had a window with a window I could, or an office with a window I could open in like 30 years. So maybe my lungs are finally, or maybe it's all the asbestos I was living in when I used to work out of the basement instead of coming into the office. So I guess it serves me right.
Maybe I've got a little bit of a runny nose, but I think that's it.
We're diseased,
We're
right?
diseased.
But we are close, we're close to our goal. And then we can stop saying donate.valleyindy.org. And we just all right, I'm going to share this. We just got a donation in there. Let me check my text messages real fast. Hold on 1 second, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so, all right, I wanted to check something there. StreamYard, I'm going to share the screen back to donate.valleyindy.org. Mr. and Mrs. Salt and Ketchup, thank you very much for your $200 donation. And then we had Laura Lane, who I believe Laura Lane has donated. She might have been the very first person who donated to Valley Indy during our first Great Give. Thank you so much for your support over the years. It's very much appreciated. And it's nice to see your name pop up there again. So
Thank you all.
There is a backstory behind Mr. and Mrs. Salt and Ketchup. We tell it every year during the Great Give, and you'll hear it again tonight at 7 p.m., just confirmed. So no spoilers. I think you even heard it last year, Jasmine, right?
And maybe the year before, too.
Yeah. Oh, all right. Good. Well, you tell one of your stories then, Jasmine. All right.
No, it's a good story.
Tell everybody how you broke our brand new coffee maker. No,
It still halfway works.
Actually, no. What it is was it's not the lift to get the water in isn't this action. You just have to lift it straight up.
That's so weird.
Kind of a design flaw because you look at it and I would show it, but it's not really worth it. But yeah, the coffee machine beat us both yesterday. Don't worry, landlord. We cleaned up the water
all over the place.
There's no mildew growing in the carpet. We are good to go. at our old office, we did have a thing where we had a freezer. We had bought it off the streets of New Haven from a Yale student. Your what do they call it? Your alma mater.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So it was $50, and it worked for a good, I don't know, I'll say 9-10 years.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, no, it worked even longer than that. But it would build up a tremendous amount of ice, and then one day the ice just melted out of the blue, and we came in, and half the office was underwater. Luckily, the building was being converted into apartments there on Main Street, so it wasn't that big a deal.
Yeah, I think probably about half of my belongings are just things I took from my friends whenever they moved away and we're just getting rid of their things.
There you go.
So that's nice. I paid very little for the things that I own.
Right. Yeah. I was happy to get that $50 fridge. Let's just take a break and get a word from our sponsor real fast.
It's another quiet, tranquil day in Derby.
Oh no, not Chainsaw Chuck again.
This snow sticker's gotta go! There's still room to negotiate! These prices are too high!
I don't think it's the prices that are too high.
I'll cut them up like a steak I had for lunch!
He's out to lunch permanently.
I've calmed down now. I'll cut till we negotiate the right price.
Dworkin Chevrolet.
Yes.
I've calmed down now.
I've calmed down now. That's
my favorite line in the whole thing.
The old, I mean, I've only lived in the Naugatuck Valley for, I don't know, 20 years. I guess the Valley Indy's been around 17, so I don't know, somewhere around there. But I missed all these. I mean, the great local commercials, is a thing of the past. What's his name? Uncle Floyd recently passed away. And he was a Jersey-based children's television host in the days where, before cable, where, you could have an independent television station and they would provide their own entertainment, their own in-house productions. And Uncle Floyd was one of the greats. And he just passed away. And I remember, that reminds me of that, the whole, because the commercials, I'd watch Uncle Floyd on UHF, right? It had a black and white TV, and you'd have to go to UHF, and we would get, like Florida wrestling and Uncle Floyd. And then the commercials were very much in that vein. It's very creative and nostalgic. So that's my favorite thing to play during the Great Give. So I guess the other thing, so we're going to have State Rep Cara Rochelle on later today. That's going to be,
I think
5 p.m. Right. So people could be in the comments, ask questions. We're going to be burnt. And we don't cover the state, so I don't know what the hell's going on with the state. But I did see, I've seen headlines. Rick Dunn mentioned it last night during his appearance, but there's extra state money coming to Ansonia. I think it's a bailout, right? Is it? I don't know if it's fair to call it a bailout, but they're getting money to deal with their fuel cell problem. And I don't know if have you read anything? I searched quickly to see if there's been any individual stories on it. The one story I could find is, did you hear anything about it, Jasmine? Or
I think we know a very similar amount because I also looked it up and I think I found a little bit. It was let's see. Oh wait, which outlet is this?
This is called newsfromthestates.com. I don't know what it is, but I mean the byline is Mark Pazniokis, and he is from CT Mirror. He's a veteran.
I was gonna say because I think I saw something in CT Mirror whenever I searched it up. This
might be just the CT Mirror article reproduced. But go ahead.
I was just going to say what I understand so far is money fell out of the sky for Ansonia, so potential bailout, and also something to do with the fuel cell. Some sort of magic deal was allegedly reached where there's 2 fuel cells instead of 1, according to Rick Dunn. But I haven't heard.
So according to this article,
yes.
And this is a recap of the end of the legislative session.
These are things to ask about tonight. Yeah.
The House had quit for the night at 10 p.m. Tuesday, scheduled to return at 10 a.m. Wednesday for the final 14 hours of the 2026 session. Among the bills awaiting them was the budget revision SB 477, which passed the Senate on a 25-11 party line vote. Excuse me while I cough. The bill was packed with new funding to nonprofits, their legislative benefactors unclear. Its breadth outraged Republicans on a day when the legislature's tradition of unlimited debate allows the GOP minority to control the flow of business simply by talking. Senate Minority Leader Stephen Harding, a Republican from Brookfield, said the amendment to SB 477 essentially was a second budget implementation bill drafted just 3 days after the budget was adopted by both the Senate and the House. The amendment was signed by the top Democratic leaders of the House and Senate, as well as the co-chairs of the Finance, Revenue, and Bonding Committee. Okay, now we're getting into the Ansonia mention here. Some of the provisions initially were hard to decipher, especially sections that seem to neutralize jurisdiction by the Public Utilities Regulatory Authority and the Connecticut Siting Council over a $63.6 million fuel cell project in Ansonia.
And it's just Ansonia and hard to decipher. Same pair, like it
Be
makes
careful.
sense.
Right. And then there's a quote: "This is not how our state government should operate. It is not an open, transparent, and reasonable process," said Ryan Fazio, Senator Ryan Fazio, a Republican from Greenwich. Under the administration of former Republican Mayor David Cassetti, the financially strapped Ansonia sold its water and sewer system to Aquarian for $41 million and got into the business of generating electricity with a fuel cell project with a partner, Johnson Controls, located at 345 North Main Street. But there was a problem. And then they go into then the background is all Jasmine Wright reporting, and you can click on it. So I didn't realize it made it to you were on the CT Mirror. I did not realize that. They're a partner. We were allowed to share each other's stories and etc. So it goes into Jasmine's explanation of what's going on with the fuel cell in Ansonia, or the deal that kind of fell apart towards the end of Mayor David Cassetti's administration. And, you talked about how like confusion and stuff like that. You were joking. But I mean, one thing I'm looking at this story, what Jasmine did really just use the public record, because it is a hard thing to report on, because there are completely different stories depending on who you ask. So Jasmine did a really good job on this story. So to the point where, it came up and it was a major issue in the waning hours of the legislative session. And it's Jasmine's reporting that was able to clarify it, apparently, for this reporter. So that's encouraging. And donate.valleyindy.org so we can keep Jasmine doing her thing in Ansonia. So that we'll ask for clarification today from State Rep Cara Rochelle at 5 p.m. I haven't seen the canned statements yet. I'm sure there's press releases coming. We prefer to talk to people. I'll say on the local level, we're not fans of just running press releases. We rather talk to our locals. We do it for the state sometimes, but we've cut down on that a lot. But we're about phone calls and politicians returning phone calls and answering questions, right? Transparency and all that good stuff. Yes. So it is 8:59. I am going to play get it ready for us, an interview I did, pre-taped interview with Remy from St. Vincent de Paul at Roosevelt Drive in Derby. I should bring it up first. And I did, Jasmine, just like on a technical note, I made all our pre-taped live. Okay. They're just all public right now. I don't know. We probably should have done that yesterday, but I don't know. We're weirdos. And the other thing is, just for like, we've had a couple of people donating, and their name appears as NA. This is probably, anyway, I went back into our donor list. I think some people wanted anonymity, but they didn't fill out the form quite correctly. It's something, I guess, for feedback for the great give. There's your custom display name. And it seems like in some instances, when that's left blank, the back end system is then pulling in people's names. So I went back and just took care of that, figured out how to take care of that this morning, which I guess is neither here nor there. And I don't know why I'm talking about it, because I need to share my screen. And I need to go to YouTube, and let's sit back and watch a 9-minute video with Remy from St. Vincent de Paul Thrift Shop and food pantry in great city of Derby, Connecticut. Let me just turn that up all the way. There we go. Kabam! Welcome back to the Valley Indies Marathon Great Give Stream. This is a pre-taped interview I'm doing in my hometown of Derby. Okay, who are you and why are you famous?
I am Remy Kutzarek. I'm the executive director at St. Vincent de Paul Thrift Shop and Food Pantry.
Okay, and we know food insecurity is a big issue in the Naugatuck Valley.
Yes.
So I guess give us an overview. That's obviously going to the theme we'll be touching upon, but give us an overview of what the thrift shop is, because it's a thrift shop and pantry.
It is, and the thrift shop exists to completely provide a wonderful thrift shopping opportunity for thrifters all over Connecticut. We're a great location for that, but it also provides some support for our food pantry, purchasing the food, keeping the lights on, and helping record-breaking numbers of Valley residents this past year and this year as well.
I mean, that's one thing, we do these Great Give Marathon streams every single year, and we've yet to hear that, oh, okay, things are okay in terms of food security. Instead, we hear the exact opposite that you just mentioned. There's a growing demand. Do you have any stats? I mean, obviously you're not at your desk or outside the shop, but what's the demand like and how much is it growing?
Well, from 23 to 2024, we had an increase from the year before of 21%. Then from 24 to 25, it was 22%. More people helped for the year. So that's just been a really steep incline. And actually in the last 5 years, we've been up 112% in terms of numbers of people helped from 5 years ago to the present. So, and this year, January through March is much busier than even last year. So it's almost, it really is kind of a daunting number.
Okay.
But
and then we're probably, if you hold that a little closer, we're probably picking up a little bit of background noise from the cars. But
right.
I'm sorry, I interrupted you. Finish your thought.
No, it's just, it was already kind of busy last year. And then with the SNAP interruption last November, we saw a lot of calls from folks who never needed a pantry before. So we had to sort of go into survival mode. All of our appointments were filled immediately and we were booked out a couple of weeks. So we started with after hours giving, putting together healthy, nourishing bags of produce, meat, dairy, to very relieved callers. And we were thrilled to do that. We have a wonderful group of volunteers, 50 plus. We have 8 to 10 volunteers with us every day. And they were just magnificent. Staff was wonderful. Everybody just rolled up their sleeves and said, we're not saying no to anybody. So,
are you in need of any additional volunteers? You just took me on a tour before we went on camera, and there's a pretty well-oiled machine back there getting orders ready, doing things in the thrift shop. Do you need more?
We always need more. And in certain days, certain periods, we need people to sort the incoming thrift donations, help unload the truck, which is happening right now from Connecticut Food Share, with whom we are grateful to participate, and to run the store, to be a cashier, to keep things neat and clean, and to be warm and welcoming to anybody who comes to visit us.
And I know, nonprofits, it's always hard to keep the lights on, to keep the funds coming to do the good work that you do. Is the pantry or the thrift shop under any type of fiscal restraints or constraints this year in terms of raising money? Because obviously it's the Great Give and we want people to donate.
Yeah, the Great Give is a wonderful boon for us and other nonprofits every year. But right now we have another whole layer of expansion going on. So we've received from the city of Derby approval to expand our food pantry primarily. And that will allow us to triple the amount of people we can help within any given slot of time. It will also allow us to welcome pantry visitors into our facility. So right now it's a very cramped space and we push a lot of food out that back door to waiting hands, but we're going to be able to, with this expansion, allow people to come on in and shop for themselves with assistance. And that way you have sort of people coming in and going out more quickly than we can do in our setup right now. We've really outgrown the space and it's not keeping up with needs. So, that phrase, it takes a village. Well, I think in this case, to get this expansion to come to reality, it's going to take a valley. And the valley is a generous place to be. We're so blessed to be here. But we're relying on the public. We're doing an expansion campaign right now. So while we're still welcoming donations to buy food and keep the lights on, it's also helping us enlarge our buildings so that we can serve people better. If you call for an appointment right now, we're booked out to May 11th.
Okay.
So that's further than we like, further than we're comfortable with. And so, yeah, I put out a plea to everyone to help us get bigger and better.
Do you have any cost estimate as to how much the expansion will cost?
We're in the throes of that right now. With inflation and everything going on in the economy, the initial quote that we got has gone up incredibly in a very brief period of time. The reasons I'm sure are a bit complicated, but so our mark that we have to get is a lot higher. So if folks would like to give directly to our expansion, I invite them to visit us on PayPal, see our website, follow us on social media, give me a call, and we're happy to take any support we can get.
And how long has the thrift shop been here?
Well, in this location, about 15 years, but we've been around this is our 44th year.
Okay. Where was it before Roosevelt Drive?
Well, it was up the street just before we moved here. And then we were in Shelton. We started out from St. Joseph's Church in Shelton. And we had a couple of spots downtown, and then we made it over the bridge here into Derby. But we serve a lot of Shelton residents, come right over the bridge. We serve the whole valley. Ansonia, Derby, Shelton, Seymour, and Oxford are all equally welcome here by appointment.
And then how did you get involved, Remy? And then it's a reporter question, but what do you get out of it? And I guess I mean spiritually, emotionally, what do you get out of the type of work that you do?
When you see the relief on people's faces, people from all walks of life who have very different stories from each other and different reasons for needing a food pantry, to help those people and to see the relief in their faces and to know they have food on their table at night or they can take care of their family for a holiday. There's just no greater reward, I think, than helping folks like that. And if you ask that question of our staff, our wonderful staff, or our volunteers, you probably get a similar answer. It's the human interaction. It's the knowledge that when I get home from work tired, I know other folks have a table full of food and they're not worried, at least for the time being. And I'll take that. This is our existing non-perishable room. Everything here was either donated or purchased by us with funds from our thrift store and donations, or comes from Connecticut Food Share. We've got Kim from Real Food, who just brought a bunch of bounty from rescued food from various farms and growing locations. And the rest of this over here comes from Connecticut Food Share. Our staff member, Diana, is unloading part of our Connecticut Food Share order today. That'll keep us going for the next week. So this is the rear of our building where we are currently getting a big delivery from Connecticut Food Share, as we do once a week. But this is also the site of our expansion, which is going to go 23 feet out the back of the building and all the way down to the thrift end. And that will allow us to welcome pantry visitors in here. And it can only be made a reality with donations. Anyone donating $1,000 or more will get their name on a permanent plaque here. But we welcome donations of all amounts.
All right, Remy, I want to thank you so much for taking the time. Let me just stick a camera in front of you and talk to you for a good 10 minutes. Thank you.
It was delightful. Anytime.
Yes.
Thank you.
Sorry for that awkward pause for a second there. I was sharing the stream. Thank you. I put a call out on our Facebook page asking people. Well, first of all, I enjoyed touring that facility, St. Vincent de Paul, which is on Route 34 Roosevelt Drive, right in the area of the former Apollo, right next to the former Apollo Pizza. So Remy was great, and a fun fact in the background there was Jim from Master's Table Community Meals. We had on his former head chef yesterday talking about food insecurity and their move from Ansonia up to Shelton. So anyway, I enjoyed Remy. Thank you for taking the time to do that. That was cool. Also gave us, that was the very first time I used our new $200 little wireless mics, and they're quite amazing.
It worked out well. I could hear her great.
Right. And I got hit by a car during that. Like somebody, that guy who beeped actually nicked me as he went by and yelled Baba Booey. But it's pretty clear. Like I was sitting there during that interview, just in my head, I'm like, oh, I messed up. We're not going to be able to hear anything. But technology being what it is, you could hear her great. And there is a support St. Vincent de Paul. I put the link in the chat if you're watching this on Facebook or YouTube. Copy and paste that and support St. Vincent de Paul for all they do for people in the Naugatuck Valley for the last 44 years, I believe she said. And I got a cough again.
And good luck with your expansion to St. Vincent de Paul.
Yeah, and that was pretty recent. They got the green light from the Derby Planning and Zoning. But what I started to say, I went back to the Facebook page. I was a little caught off guard at the end there, and I did put a plea out earlier saying, "Hey, if you could share our stream, I appreciate it." And I went back, and 10 people shared the stream, which is really appreciated. One thing we've noticed, and this is very inside baseball, but when we started doing these live streams, I mean, first it was YouTube. We weren't doing live streams, but talking about 2009, all our videos would go to YouTube. And then we started using Facebook because we noticed you could put paint drying, a video of paint drying on Valley Indy Facebook, and we get 5,000 views. I was like, wow, because the Valley is very much a Facebook town. But as the years have progressed, we've seen every time we go live, it's like, I don't know where it's going. One thing we've seen is like, if you go to our Facebook page, you can see the current stream, and then under it, the previous streams. If you go to our YouTube page, you can see the current stream, and then look to our right, you can see the previous streams. Twitter, same thing. But where it gets tricky is if you're picking this up, not on one of those pages. You can also watch on valleyindy.org, because we have no control when we share this video, how you're going to see it on your end. So, and that becomes really challenging when you're trying to do a live stream and you want people to donate to St. Vincent de Paul right now, but they're not seeing this until like the next day because it just pops up.
I was going to say, because what happens for me whenever I open my phone and go to our Facebook page and I hit that live button, like to tune in, it takes me to the dinner one to the dinner stream from last night. And then I have to scroll down to find the actual live stream we're currently doing.
Yeah. So anyway, but we're cooking with gas. Thanks to everybody who shared this. We see some, and you can tell the impact because we have comments. It doesn't just feel like we're talking to ourselves. Because if you go back and look at yesterday's live stream, we did a trivia contest where we were giving away 6 coffee cups, and it was a call-in show, and there was no participation. I kept, is this thing even on? I was hitting the mic, but anyway, here is from Nancy. So proud of you, Remy. And all you and St. Vincent de Paul does great segment. Yeah, she's great. And also I noticed with like Maria Blackwell and Remy, they're much better on camera and on a mic than we are, So she knew right away. And I think she creates some of her own videos, promos for St. Vincent de Paul, and it really was a well-oiled machine. Like I went in there and everybody knew their task, and got there and they were unloading a giant order from Connecticut Food Share. So it was impressive to see. Look at this guy. There's always got to be one negative Nancy. Not this Nancy. This Nancy is awesome. Look at this guy. Jason Carlucci. Blah, blah, blah.
Hate him.
Right? We got haters in here, right? That looks like the Dewdrop Inn. I used to go to the Dewdrop Inn, and then somehow I got banned. It's ridiculous, but whatever. Anyway, so thanks for your comment, Jason Carlucci. He may or may not be. Like traditionally, we've asked Jason to close out the Great Give live stream, and he comes on and waxes poetic about chicken wings for a good 10 minutes. So you can't beat him. But anyway, that was St. Vincent de Paul. This is the Valley Indy 2026 Great Give Marathon live stream. We went live about an hour and 15 minutes ago on day 2. We were live 16 hours yesterday. We're going to try to pack in another 12 today. There are 65 local nonprofits participating in the Great Give. And what do we have? We're 9:30. We have about 15 minutes. Let's go. I'm going to go to valleyindy.org. Let's take a little trip right here. And we can go through the local nonprofits. By local, I mean based in the Naugatuck Valley that are participating today. I'm going to bring that up. I'm going to make that a little wider, and then I'm going to come back and share my screen. Donate.valleyindy.org if you want to help us out. We are very close to our goal of $10,000. Thank you so much to everybody. I think we have over 70 donors, which is amazing for a little local rag in the age of dying media, mistrust of media. The fact that 70 people open up their wallets to support this tiny organization is encouraging. So here is the Valley nonprofit list. One of the many great things about the Great Give for nonprofits is that participating nonprofits, you get a graphics, a toolkit, right? So we had ready-made graphics for us. And Jasmine, who's pretty good with the Canva, added Valley nonprofit list to it, right? So thank you, Jasmine, for that. I don't know how to do that.
Thank you to the Great Give.
Right. If I tried to do that and you match the font and the colors pretty well, I was very impressed. I couldn't do that. That's a skill set I do not have. But it's all right. So there's about 60. I think it's at 65. And here, let's go through it. Adams House. They're based in Shelton. That's they offer a program, bereavement, for families who've lost a loved one. They've been on several past Valley Indy Great Give live streams. Wonderful organization. Advancing Heroes. I don't know the mission and everything about every single nonprofit, but the great thing about the Great Give is, Advancing Heroes Fund in memory of Jeff Burlick. Sorry if I'm saying the last name incorrectly, but when you click the link, do you now see, did that come with me? Did that follow me?
Yep, it followed.
Oh, wow. I'm actually surprised. But you can learn about it. You click on a link, right? And look, they've raised $2,700 approximately. It's a nonprofit organization dedicated to uplifting the frontline heroes who stand between life and loss daily. Founded in memory of Jeffrey Verlick, a beloved ER nurse. That is a tough job. The fund provides life-changing directed grants to help EMTs become paramedics, offering them the resources they need to advance their training careers and the critical care they provide. So the Advancing Heroes Fund is definitely worthy of your consideration. Let me see if I hit the back button now. Do you see we're back on our page?
Yep.
Can you name the next one?
Yep. Afrique Prosper Education. That's another one where I don't know the mission statement super well. It's available right there, but I believe it has something to do with its like professional mentorship for people from French-speaking African countries who come over here.
And across the valley, many immigrant professionals are doing everything right. They work hard, they care for the families, they show up for their communities. Many arrived in the U.S. with education, professional experience, technical skills, and a deep desire to contribute. They're nurses, teachers. But in today's economy, talent alone is not always enough. We believe immigrant professionals do not need pity. They need access, guidance, coaching, opportunity, and a community that believes in their potential. So it's another... I think they're Ansonia based.
Yes, Ansonia based, and a broader segment of communities than I originally said. So that's cool.
Area congregations together. Spooner House.
We're going to have her on at 10, right?
10 a.m. Susan Agame is going to be on at 10 a.m. Assumption School in Ansonia. The great BH Care, who does just a ton of wonderful work in locally. And beyond, of course, the Boys and Girls Club of Lower Naugatuck Valley. And both, in terms of the big picture, BH Care, Boys and Girls Club are doing very well this year in the Great Give. People are being very generous with those organizations. One of our personal favorites, the Bunlandia Rabbit Rescue and Rehab.
We have an interview with Sarah Pereras from Bunlandia Rabbit Rescue and Rehab. That's going to air at 11 a.m.
Right. And I think that's the third time we've had her on. Cardi, a Shelton-based nonprofit. We've tried to connect with them. We're always playing an email tag, but they're doing very well in the Great Give too. They've been around for a couple of years. They making art museum based learning accessible to all children and youth. $7,691 raised through 66 donors. Right. So again, you go to valleyindy.org or just go to thegreatgive.org and search. But at the Valley Indy, we do have live hyperlinks to every single Valley nonprofit that we're aware of, thanks to the VCF for sending out over that list that you can support today during the Great Give. And there you have a quote there, an endorsement from the Bradley Elementary School principal in Derby, my hometown. Cardi was founded to fill a critical gap in our children's early education, art, and museum access. So you can read all about what they do. In areas without access, we bring high-quality art and museum-based learning directly to children with our art museum bus. 6 years, we've reached more than 9,000 students. So that is very cool. Another worthy nonprofit participating in today's Great Give. Center Stage Theater in Shelton, they're doing very well. There's a lot of animal-related groups in the Valley. Coco's Animal Rescue Efforts of Seymour is one of them. They were on, I guess it's been a long time. We had them in person in our office in Ansonia, and they brought a couple of wonderful dogs in, which is available for adoption, which was really cool. Parnell Scott Hill Health Center, Wakely Avenue.
Oh, and we skipped over the Connecticut Hurricanes.
Oh, sorry
we
about
had them
that.
in yesterday.
Well, yeah, they were in yesterday. And that was a live, a virtual live interview. They were great. It was great to hear Danny Stafari, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he should be our third mic. You know what I mean? That guy is good.
He was great.
Yeah, he's a good talker. CT Wildlife Rehabilitators Association. We reached out to them, but I didn't hear back today. But next year we'll make it a point to have them on. They've never been on. I didn't realize they were based in the Valley. $300 raised from 2 donors. So this is one. I mean, let's read about what they do. There's nothing on there, but I know what they do because I think I had them help when I displaced a flying squirrel and its babies one time. I don't want to get into it, but look, I cut down a tree. The whole neighborhood hated me, but I was a new homeowner and I was thinking like this tree's going to fall and hurt my kids, blah, blah, blah. So anyway, but by their name, you know what they do. So that's that. Going back, Derby Historical Society. We did an impromptu phone call to Jim Gilday yesterday, Derby's Jim Gilday. And it was almost like he was expecting the call. He was not, but he endorsed several Valley nonprofits. Derby Historical Society was among them. And what was the other one? He mentioned us, but what was the
Seymour Oxford Food Bank.
Seymour Oxford Food Bank. Yeah, thank you. The Great Derby Neck Library Association, right? Great City of Derby has 2 libraries. There's the public library, beautiful building. And then in my neck of Derby on Hawthorne Avenue, there's Derby Neck Library Association, a very worthy nonprofit, beautiful building. And in terms of libraries, we've had Derby Neck on in the past. And last night, I was really happy to have Jen Schubert, the head librarian from Ansonia Library, on, talking about libraries in the community, the role they play now as opposed to traditionally years ago. And she was on. She's buddies with Kelly Clarkson, right? Come on.
Yeah, they're best friends. But yeah, that was a great conversation about how libraries are increasingly hubs for all sorts of community resources. Libraries are everything.
An Echo Hose Hook and Ladder Ambulance Corps. I mean, you can support the EMS workers and the EMTs in the Valley. Echo Hose Hook and Ladder is very active. They sent us a press release that I haven't had a chance to publish it, but I did read it yesterday. They were celebrating a recent Valley Community Foundation grant. So you can, there's a bunch of ambulance services on here. Electronic Valley. Electronic Valley has been around. They're probably the first website that launched in the Naugatuck Valley. Jack Walsh and John Joy. They're now transitioning. Kaylee Mahalko is the executive director of. It's been a nonprofit since 1995, but you can now support it directly as it becomes an information hub, community news and events for the area, including Beacon Falls, Naugatuck. They're expanding to the whole lower Naugatuck Valley. So that's exciting. Friends of Derby Public Library. I just mentioned the library. There you can support them directly. Friends of the Ansonia Nature Center, another animal organization. Friends of the Shelton Animal Shelter, Get Off the Couch Foundation. I think this is, I don't remember seeing this in past. I definitely don't remember seeing this in past Great Gives. This might be a new one. Let's learn about it. They've raised $75 so far. The Get Off the Couch Foundation was born from a simple but deeply personal belief: the outdoors has the power to heal, strengthen, and to shape who we become. We've seen it firsthand, the confidence that comes from a child riding a bike for the first time. But today, too many kids are missing out. Only 1 in 4 children gets enough daily physical activity. Screen time cuts into all that. And that's where this organization steps in. We break down those barriers. They fund Learn to Ride bike programs, providing access to mountain bike clinics and camps, learn how to ski, snowboard scholarships, funding outdoor adventures experiences, and supporting adaptive access, equipment, and experience. So everybody, every child of every ability has the chance to participate in outdoors exciting adventures. Sorry if I'm butchering that, but that sounds, because my mind was going, what a wonderful nonprofit that I'm learning about live on Facebook and YouTube. So that is very cool. So that's another one we'll have to reach out to and schedule an interview. I mean, this could be a story, a story lead, and then God willing, if we're still around next year, have them on during the Great Give. So I got 4 minutes. So I'm gonna blast through these. I'll just scroll. I can't go down every one. Housatonic Council, right? The Boy Scouts, they have their gang show. I think it's May 9th. We've been promoting the flyer, and we'll do so again later. Housatonic Valley Association, Junior Achievement, Love Mom Foundation, who I think was a past guest.
Yes.
The Great Massaro Community Farm, aforementioned Master's Table Community Meals, another ambulance association here. Support the people who come and help you in your greatest need, right? Oxford High School Booster Club, the Oxford Land Trust, Project Purple. They're right across the hall from us. A very successful and motivated nonprofit based here in Seymour. And they help people with pancreatic cancer and fund medical research to find a cure. Sensory Play Center, that's a new one. I haven't seen that yet. Let's look at it real fast. We have 3 minutes. Sensory Play Center. They've got their Amazon wish list. You can fund their fundraising. They've raised $3,580. It's fascinating too. Oh, it sounds like they're based in Shelton. How long is this video? Okay, let's watch the video. Very cool video. I'm starting to get paranoid because we could get a copyright strike for music. Music can be very touch and go on social media, but and I'm also tearing up. You know what I mean? It's little kids playing. I'm exhausted. Support the Sensory Play Center Community Access Fund. Can you read this?
Yeah. Support the Sensory Play Center Community Access Fund. At the Sensory Play Center, every child and every family belongs. For many families with neurodivergent children and children with disabilities, typical play spaces aren't designed with their needs in mind. Outings that should be joyful can quickly become overwhelming, stressful, or simply inaccessible. The Sensory Play Center is here to change that story.
All right, it hits close to home. So I'm going to go to the back button. I wasn't aware of that. I mentioned Seymour Food to Kids. They're going to be on later. I got 1 minute. Seymour Oxford Food Bank. We have a pre-tape with them that's coming. Is that what's coming up next? At 9?
Seymour Food to Kids is coming up in 1 minute. Yep.
Okay, in 1 minute. So I'm going to get that prepared right now by going to stop sharing that for a second.
Seymour Oxford Food Bank was on yesterday.
The point being, there is a ton of worthy nonprofits who are doing the work of God out there, if that's a phrase.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's the list is all right there on our website. Take some time. hop through it. Read the descriptions that look interesting to you.
And who's up next, Jasmine? I'm sorry, which one?
Up next is Seymour Food to Kids, and that is
Got it. Okay, I
yes.
see it right here. Boom. Gonna go like that, and I will share that. And a step away, I am gonna take a cigarette break. I don't smoke. I just said, but I'm gonna step away for a second, Jasmine, just so you know. That's that. It's 23 minutes, so I better get to it. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Okay, hello everyone, and welcome back to The Great Give. My name is Jasmine Wright, and joining me now are two people involved with Seymour Food to Kids, Shannon Bullard and Jessica Nunez. So I'll pass it off to you right away. Who are you, and what is Seymour Food to Kids?
You want me to go first, Jess?
Yeah, I'll let you take it.
My name is Shannon Bullard. I'm the co-founder of Seymour Food to Kids. I cannot say that I'm the founder because my daughter Mackenzie gets super mad about that. And Seymour Food to Kids is an organization that began about 2 years ago at Bungay Elementary School in Seymour, where Mackenzie was a kindergarten student and noticed that some friends didn't have snacks. And it wasn't just one day, it had kind of happened a few times. And so she came home and said, Mom, could we do that food bag program we volunteered for at my school? Did you think about it? And so that's how Seymour Food to Kids was born. Quick oversight, in the 2 years, we've expanded tremendously. We started with 10 children at Bungay, and now we are in all Seymour schools, Great Oak Elementary School in Oxford, Irving School in Derby, and then we provide snacks in all of those spaces, as well as the Boys and Girls Club in Ansonia.
Yeah. And so just to kind of echo what Shannon said, this has been a grassroots effort. And the Great Give was actually how we almost hard launched into a nonprofit. So Shannon approached me at a book swap at our kids' school and was like, so do you want to start a nonprofit with me? Mackenzie has a really great idea. And I was like, okay, sure. Like neither of us had time to do it. Neither of us knew what we were doing. And so Shannon single-handedly started a nonprofit, and the Great Give was about a month after. And so it was the two of us. We had so much fun. We loved this event. We picked kind of a power hour and we're like, we're going to hyper focus on this. And we ended up getting a grant from the Jewish Community Foundation that launched us into being able to be in all the schools in Seymour. So we are really passionate about the Great Give. We have a great time participating in it. And so we're really excited to be here.
Wonderful, wonderful. And do you have a goal that you're trying to reach this year, a number or a power hour picked out for this year?
So we do have the power hour picked out. We are going to do the one that is 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. on Thursday, and that gives us an opportunity for a $2,500 grant. So that is the one that we're shooting for.
Wonderful, wonderful. And yeah, you mentioned the tremendous growth, really, of Seymour Food to Kids over the last couple of years. Very humble beginnings, and has expanded to several schools since then. I believe the expansion to Oxford was pretty recent, right? Like within the last year. And I was just wondering if you could talk a little bit more about what that growth has been like and how you've been handling it. And I guess that's sort of an open question.
I think the growth has been great. The growth has been overwhelming. It's been all of the things kind of at the same time, right? And we didn't necessarily like reach out to these spaces. Folks were reaching out to us. And I think that really where it begins is that not only was this started by a youth, but we're youth led, right? 100%. Yes, we have a board and we have adults who are like making decisions and doing some of those higher level things. But our events are children coming together, 25 to 35 of them, right? We post a sign up and then we're full and people are messaging and we're like, yeah, one more. Yeah, one more. Before you know it, we're at like 15 more. But the kids are so excited to come and help and to be a part of it. And I think that's kind of the draw for others to want to be a part, in addition to the fact of just the need of students, right? Outside of school hours, and the snack closet actually began because a teacher at Bungay Elementary School approached me in the hallway and she was like, hey, I love what you do with the weekend food bags, but I spend a lot of money on snacks. And, some kids come with them, but they're just a little extra hungry, or they didn't eat too much of their lunch, or whatever the case happens to be. And so that's where the snacks really launched. And I think that's been a great support for all of the schools.
Yeah, the middle school reached out and had shared with us a story of one child that we had sent fruit cups in. And this one child went every single day to get a fruit cup and had told the social worker that because of that fruit cup, they were able to focus in their class and that they were hungry every single day, but they had never expressed that. And so these snack closets in the older schools are kind of open for the kids to get because they don't bring snacks. And so we've been asked that question that, well, you don't bring snacks in middle school or in high school. That doesn't mean that those kids aren't coming to school without lunches, and they may not qualify for the free or reduced lunches. And so that's important to know, is that what we do has no qualifications, and there's nothing that makes you eligible to receive the food bags. This is by saying that I have a need, or maybe a friend saying I know someone who has a need, and us coming to that aid. And the schools do all of that for us. We don't know who receives the food bags. We actually have no idea where they go. We just know that we deliver them and that they're open for anyone who needs them.
Right. And I was, the youth leadership portion is pretty unique to Seymour Food to Kids, at least in my experience. And it starts with the very beginning, as Shannon, you had mentioned earlier with your daughter, sort of originating the idea. And I was wondering if you could just talk a little bit more about the distribution methods, sort of what events draw the kids in, what the kids are doing whenever they're helping out with this, or not just helping out, but really leading it.
Yeah, I think that there's really no boundaries here, right? So what we offer is every 6 weeks, we're doing a bagging. We put up a sign up and say, hey, who wants to come and help? And it's not just they come and they fill the bags and they go home. It's really important to me that they understand why we are there. Why are we doing this? Who are we helping? How does it feel when we help others, right? To kind of encourage that piece as well. And I think that we've really done a great job of doing that, because what we've seen from that is kids just taking the lead and doing things, right? Knocking on Jess's door. Hey, we did this field day. We want to give the proceeds to Seymour Food to Kids. Oh, the Smarty Pants Club did a lemonade stand and they want to donate to Food to Kids, right? Some girls sitting at their brother's baseball games and they're like, oh, we can make these bracelets and sell them. And then they gave the money to Seymour Food to Kids, right? So it's encouraging them to kind of expand even beyond what we offer. And I think for me, most moving was we were outside of Stop and Shop. Right. And so we've all been there. There's a table and you're just like, okay, here's my change, or here's $1. And I'm just here to grocery shop. Right. I have one mission. But the kids were there and they were making cards. And I remember this woman came and she put the money in. And this little boy who was in kindergarten was like, no, wait, I need to tell you about Food to Kids. And so she stopped because he's a kid and you can't walk away. And he can articulate the whole story, right, in his own words. And she started sobbing. She was like, I needed that reset. And I did not think I would cry at the grocery store today. So not only are they part of doing the work, they're part of spreading the mission. And so we're really excited as we move into the next school year to add a junior hive to our board, to like really give them an official voice and kind of their first board experience in leadership, and just hear more of their ideas in a structured way.
That's wonderful. Am I hearing that right? So there's going to be like a youth board as well?
Yeah.
That's great. And on your side of it, your board has also very recently expanded, right? And I was wondering, we were talking about this a little bit before we recorded, but this is not a full-time job for either of you. And I was wondering if you could talk about how you balance this in your own life, how that growth of the board has allowed you to, balance things a little more.
Yeah. We both work full time and have multiple children who are active in sports and activities. And so, as I had shared, this came about as Shannon and I were volunteering at a school thing together. And so, the growth of our board over the last few years is both exciting and also a little bit overwhelming, I think, for us, because we are genuinely two moms who are low key a mess. Like, we're texting each other. We don't know how this became this huge thing because I don't think either of us expected it to grow like that. And we are just like moms in a group text saying, hey, did you make that post about this? So now expanding our board, having people have real titles and roles and being able to delegate some of the things. But we will always say that for us, our kids' things are always going to be a priority. We did this to support others and to support our community. But what we've always stood by is, for example, there's a board meeting and I'm not going to go because it's my daughter's birthday and chorus concert. Our children will always be our priorities. And that's what kind of makes our board special, is that we're a group of people that know that we're multi-passionate, and having more board members has allowed us to be able to step away and say, this doesn't all fall on us. But I also think that's hard for us because we're people that this is our baby and we want to make sure that we're always present. But we do things like this. We take 15 minutes out of our work day and we go in a quiet corner and we multitask. We have a lot of shared notes and shared group texts of different ideas. We chat and get yelled at during the gym while we're working out. We'll be mid-workout during a break, and instead of taking a sip of water, we're brainstorming what our next big idea is. So it's really just finding the gaps of time to make this work, because we know that there's a bigger purpose. And so things like the Great Give allow us to hyper focus during a period of time to really move mountains.
Yeah, and I think the expansion really, another big piece is adding folks who are good at the things that we're not necessarily great at, or perhaps don't really love to do, but we need, like the data, right? So we have so much more information now about our total number of volunteers and volunteer hours. And I was working on some grant stuff, and when I sent a text over and the information came back, I was actually kind of taken back. Like, I estimate in my head, I know how many people show up to things. And we've really been collecting data since maybe December-ish, right? In that time, it's almost 300 with over 50% youth volunteers.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
And there's a really healthy network throughout the Valley, I think, of nonprofits collaborating together, sort of supporting each other. A piece of evidence for this being, the Great Give exists. And that's sort of the whole mission of the Great Give. Seymour Food to Kids also has partnerships with other nonprofits. For example, I'm thinking of Seymour Food to Kids, as far as I know, doesn't operate as much outside of the school year, but I believe you have some sort of collaboration with the Seymour Oxford Food Bank. I was wondering if you could talk about, sort of those partnerships, the work you do with others that maybe allows you to go even further.
Yeah, so we do not really function outside the school year, although this year we are doing that a bit because we're supporting the Boys and Girls Club, right, which is new to us. They had been searching for years to find someone to help support with snacks. And there's someone who works there who lives in Seymour and was like, hey, just try them and let's see, right? So we are working through supporting them with some snacks because it's the only place we serve that operates in the summer. But yes, collaboration with the Seymour Oxford Food Bank. Love Christina, right? Like we are in this together. And that collaboration came because she said, hey, I'm going to do the summer food bag program. I think I need some support. Do you guys want to work together? And for us, right, wrong, or indifferent, our answer is typically always yes. And then we back ourselves into how we're going to, how it's going to run, what we're going to do. But it also provides our youth an opportunity to participate because we typically take care of handling the nighttime pickups. Mm-hmm. So we'll go there one night a week all through the summer. And it's really great to see, my younger daughter, Amaya, who is 5, right? Last year, she was like, no, I'll take the clipboard. And she gets the clipboard and goes to the car and says, what's your name? And she's like trying to sound it out and looks for it and yells it out. And then that's it. The kids just go, right? I'll get the bag. I got the bread. I got the eggs. Let's move this up. And we're there to supervise, but they can really run the whole operation. And it's great to be able to lean into each other and to be able to work together. Even, during the school year, if there's, the school reaches out that there's a family that needs some support, right? We can provide some extra snacks or things to them, but then we can also make a phone call and the food bank is able to go ahead and support them as well.
And it sounds like the kids, you had mentioned earlier the kids. Oh, wait, I think I hear a little echo off of my own mic. Is that, or maybe it just resolved itself. Anyway, but so the kids, as you mentioned earlier, they're able to talk at length about this. The story of the kindergarten kid at Stop and Shop, sort of explaining the whole mission. They're able to really sort of embody this and really understand and articulate sort of what they are doing and how they're able to help others. It also sounds like they're managing logistics, like not to talk about children and work, but like these are resume skills down the line.
Yeah, 100%. And what we've found is we're trying to, because our children I have one daughter that's in middle school, but this was started in an elementary school. So a lot of our youth is little or younger children. And so what our goal for this kind of upcoming year is really getting into the older kids who need volunteer hours. We're encouraging last food bagging, or the one prior, we had a group of National Honor Society kids from the middle school came, and they took on more of an adult role of something that we would have the adults do. And so we're really trying to encourage and find even social media skill set in the high school students that have a skill set. And then we want to provide them with exactly what you're saying, Jasmine, those resume building skills that they don't even know they're gaining, and really leaning into, there are kids in middle school and high school that can do some of the things that maybe we don't love to do, or that they're better at it than we are. They're tech savvy. They know how to do it. So we're trying to tap into the older kids because most of us have children in the elementary school age. And that's just organic because that's who founded the program. And so we're really trying to expand into having some older kids come in and take a bigger part. And I think the junior hive, having a junior board will help with that.
Wonderful. And I wanted to ask, earlier when Shannon, you were talking about data that was being collected. And maybe this is related to that. Maybe it isn't. But I did talk with Christina from the Seymour Oxford Food Bank recently. And she had mentioned, sort of back when there was that earlier government shutdown back in September, October of last year, the SNAP funding, the food stamps program, it had expired for a little while. And food banks sort of throughout the area, they experienced a massive increase in demand and sort of need that they had to meet all of a sudden. Now, the way that Seymour Food to Kids is structured is different. And I know, like you said earlier, you distribute it to the schools. You don't necessarily know exactly who is getting them because the schools are in charge of figuring that out. I was just wondering if there's been any sort of ripple effect that you've noticed, if you've noticed any sort of increase in need, or if maybe you're sort of insulated from it just because of the structure of how this works.
So definitely not insulated from it. And during the time with the SNAP, the school social workers will reach out to us and not share any demographic information, but say, hey, I feel like you're really in tune with things and we have resources here, but I wanted to check with you first. We have a family who lost their SNAP or this or that, right? And we've helped to coordinate some of that. But we have most recently seen an increase. So usually I'll provide about 400 to 500 individually wrapped snacks to each of the locations about every 6 weeks. And so I had done one snack drop off, and within like 3.5 to 4 weeks, every single location had reached out to me for more snacks, which has literally never happened. Right. And so Derby was the first one, but it was our first snack drop off to them. So like we didn't really have, we don't have any footing there, that it literally just started like 2 months ago. But every other location said, hey, we're low on snacks. Do you think that you bring some more? And so that tells me that, people are probably feeling the effects of just the cost of living, right? Like I went to put gas in my car the other day. Like it's crazy. But we are very fortunate between grant funding, donation from the community, right? Opportunities like this with the Great Give and people to contribute, that we were able to respond to that, right? Within 2 days, every location had another delivery of snacks. And that's also a lot of behind the scenes work, right? People going to do bulk BJ pickup orders and dropping things off. And, my husband laughs because he came home and, there's like a bin of food here. Someone's dropping a bag on the front porch. But that's just that's how we operate, right? I send a text, someone's going to come. I'm going to leave this with your name, this with your name, so that a board member can take the snacks and take the things and get them to where they need to be timely.
Mm-hmm. And when people donate to you, where does that money go?
So the money goes into our bank account, but where does the money go?
Right. Yeah.
So so honestly, we do as Shannon said, all of our own shopping. So donations go directly to, we have done nothing outside of supplying food bags and snacks. So as a board, as what we do, the money that is donated directly goes to providing the food bags and the snacks for the children. So we also get in-kind donations of, individually wrapped snacks. All of that goes to the food bagging program. When we, maybe think that there's a need, as we said, about collaboration, sometimes for the summer food bag program, that money might go towards supplying, like from Seymour Food to Kids, fresh produce for the summer food bag program. But every single donation is directly to provide the food for the weekend food bags and the snack. And it just allows us to grow and expand and to say the yeses. As Shannon said, we can really give a lot of yeses because of things like this, and that we are fully funded by those donations.
Wonderful. And I was just wondering if you could repeat just one more time. I know we said it right at the start of the interview, but sort of as we wrap things up, what you're aiming for this Great Give, any particular goals that you have set up, and what do you have coming up? What events are coming up in the future for Seymour Food to Kids?
So our primary focus for the Great Give is our Power Hour on Thursday, which is from 3 to 4. It's a fun thing that we get together, we're on our phones, we're messaging, and Mackenzie gets really excited about it. She has a May birthday, and so we always kind of like make this the focus. The first year she was like, I want you to win. And then we did. So now it's just kind of become this fun thing. I don't think that we've set a dollar amount donation, and we understand 3 to 4 on a Thursday might not be the best time for some folks to donate. So we appreciate any donation at any point. And like Jess mentioned, every dollar goes to food, right? Food and the bags to put the food in. We're fortunate to have in-kind space to store the food. So we don't have any of those overhead pieces. So every dollar you give us goes right back into the community and to the children.
I was just going to say, if you, to kind of keep up with what we do, following us on our socials at Seymour Food to Kids on Facebook, Instagram, our website. We also keep up to date with all the things going on. We have some events coming up. So follow us on those pages to stay in tune with all of the things that we're doing and stay connected. And if you do have any interest in joining us in a volunteer capacity, again, following us on those pages to see when we have volunteer posting and getting on our email list, so that way you can be a part of what we're doing next.
Wonderful. Thank you both so much for joining. Shannon Bullard and Jessica Nunez of Seymour Food to Kids. Good luck with the rest of your Great Give, and thank you so much for joining.
Thank you so much, Jasmine.
Thank you.
All right, we are now back live as YouTube plays, but the public can't hear that. Don't worry, we're not going to get a copyright strike because YouTube auto plays. But that was a great interview, Jasmine. I mean, if you want to support at the end of it, I just thought to myself, moms get stuff done.
Very true.
You know, at the end of the day, that's what it is. It's kind of like you could almost call it a theme in the interviews we've done over the past 26 hours or so. But I just wanted to read this comment from Greater Valley Chamber. Love this opportunity for the kids of the Valley and all that you are doing. Nice to see these two amazing leadership Greater Valley grads encouraging the next generation to volunteerism. So what a nice comment to see up there. And of course, if you can go, that's the direct, obviously, you know, that's a lot of URL stuff, but if you're watching this live in our chat, you can copy and paste that into your browser and support Seymour Food to Kids right now. Hopefully we can be seen and heard. 9:55, in about 5 minutes, we're going to be talking to Susan Agame of Spooner House. Right. I was getting a little nervous. I checked. I was like, uh-oh, Jasmine, how long is this? Are we going to bump? You know, and that's what it brought back. I have PTSD from our earlier great gives when we were scheduling people like every half hour. It just
Right. We had a couple of half hours this time around, which is
yeah. So that was a good interview. And again, this is the Great Give. Well, actually, this is the Valley Indy 2026 Great Give Marathon live stream. I'm Eugene Driscoll, and that's Jasmine Wright. And there are more than 60 Naugatuck Valley-based nonprofit organizations participating in today's Great Give. If you go to thegreatgive.org, you can search by location, you can search by cause, you can search by name. We've also provided direct donation links on valleyindy.org. If you go there right now, it is 9:56 a.m. Thursday, May 7th. And we're also trying to hit our goal of $10,000, our annual Great Give goal. We are very grateful and appreciative of the donations we have received thus far. It's nice to see we are 88% of the way toward our goal. You have donated $8,779. 85 donors gave to a proud local rag. You know, that's pretty cool to see. We have a couple of new ones. Jessica Fusco, thank you very much for your donation. Jack Butkowski, thank you very much for your generous donation. And Jane Licio, thank you very much for your donation. And of course, Mr. and Mrs. Salt and Ketchup. So I like how we're even getting trolled, which is great. I mean, that's fun. It breaks it up a little bit. But thanks to everyone who's donated to the Valley Indy thus far. We're close. We're close. You know, we have until 8 p.m. Tonight to hit that 100%. So,
and this
I mean, if it doesn't happen, you know, it's not the end of the world. It's still worth, you know, highlighting all these other nonprofits and doing these interviews. And I like the pre-tape stuff is good. So, you have anything to add, Jasmine?
I mean, this was a bit of a short tangent. I'll keep it brief. But you said earlier, moms get stuff done. And it reminded me of last year, I actually encountered Jess Nunez for the first time because she was part of the Bungay School Rebuild Alliance, which that was just a tremendously successful organization in terms of, you know, sort of getting people to show up for that referendum that was held last year.
Yeah.
I think anytime there's big turnout in any sort of election, I think that's a good thing. I think it's good for people to be involved in their local politics. And
maybe this is an oversimplification because I'm running with a cliche, but yeah, I said moms get stuff done. And I was also thinking of that in Seymour, especially in Seymour.
Yes.
They're getting a new school built. And obviously that is an oversimplification. I get that. But our next guest is here. Susan is backstage. We're going to bring you on in 1 minute. I just wanted to share real quickly. There's like a live event happening tonight that is very Great Give connected. Let's see if I can do this. The Valley Shakespeare Festival is going to be at Derby Neck Library tonight. Am I sharing that? Do you see that?
Yep, I see it.
Julius Caesar on tour, Derby Neck Library, 307 Hawthorne Avenue, tonight, May 7th at 6 p.m. So while you're there, admission's free, no reservation required, but that'll be in the last 2 hours of the Great Give. You can donate to both Valley Shakespeare Festival and the Derby Neck Library. And also just don't, I live really close to there. Just avert your eyes when you see my front lawn. I've got a grub problem that I can't solve. Okay. I don't need anybody harassing me about that. So that was that. All right. So our next guest has been on, I think, every single Great Give live stream that we have done. It's, Spooner House is an institution here in the Valley. We'll have Susan come on and talk about it, but it's probably one of the first nonprofits that I was aware of when the Valley Indy launched back in the day. But I'll blab on. Anyway, welcome to the broadcast, Susan Agame. Hello.
Good morning. Good
Welcome
morning,
back.
Jasmine. Good morning, Eugene. It is so nice to see both of you.
Yeah, nice to see you. Thank you, and thank you for. I did see on the feed you had shared this, which I very much appreciate. I'm sure you experience probably the same thing. It's surprisingly hard to get the word out there. Like we did a trivia contest last night, and I was like, these are great questions. They're not too hard. We did it as a call in, and it was like crickets. And we were panicking. And then we had Rick Dunn from the NVCOG making fun of us. Is anybody watching this?
We love Rick.
Making fun of you, Eugene. I was just egging you both on.
No, he was making fun of you as well, Jasmine. You just didn't notice. But yeah, we were both getting ragged on pretty heavy. But it was fun. If anybody wants to go back, if you have some time to kill, watch last night's the last stream we did last night. It was something. Because for a while we assumed nobody was watching. But so we're here to talk about a Spooner House. So the basic question, I don't know, maybe there's new people, they're not aware. Can you explain what Spooner House is and what it does for the community?
Absolutely. Spooner House is operated by Area Congregations Together, Inc. That is our official nonprofit, our legal name. And we operate a shelter for both individuals and families experiencing homelessness and a community food pantry. And so we are the only shelter in the lower Naugatuck Valley, and in fact, the only shelter along the Route 8 corridor between Bridgeport and Waterbury. And so we're, meeting a tremendous need right here in our community. And then we also work with the VA to provide assistance to veterans, particularly veterans with families, because we are currently the only shelter in Connecticut with a grant per diem contract with the VA that can accommodate veteran families regardless of the composition of the family or the ages of the children.
And then how many people are currently at Spooner House? And what's your, I guess, bed capacity? Is that the right term?
Sure. So yes, our capacity is 36. Our capacity, let me change that. We are a 36 bed facility. We have cots. Our capacity is greater. And with the way the economy has been going and costs, we have seen the requests for a shelter assistant skyrocket this year. We've been seeing consistently 41 people a night. That's with babies and pack and plays and using some overflow space. And that's not including all the people we serve during the winter through our emergency no freeze walk-in shelter.
And in terms of, yes, I mean, gas is skyrocketing. The price of gas is skyrocketing. We had Rick Dunn, in addition to making fun of us, Rick Dunn was talking about housing and the need for housing prices to somehow come down. And I guess, are you seeing that? Because you're more, you're seeing people affected by the cost of housing. What's it like out there?
Yeah, so there's a squeeze on the system from both ends. So there are the people who are losing their housing because rents have been, in many cases, rents have been jacked up so high that they cannot make that up because salaries and wages are not following suit. And so there are more people entering the system, but those that are already in shelter, they can't afford the places to leave shelter. And so it's really causing a great strain on our system. And with federal funding being cut for some programs or reduced, and even if it hasn't been, there's this uncertainty about what will happen there. It's become much more challenging, and these are probably the most challenging times I've seen in my now 21 years at Spooner House.
Is this something that's keeping you up at night? And in terms of the challenges, are you talking about funding specifically?
Well, funding is always, we're always working on funding. I'm talking specifically about the strain on the system. We are part of the Greater New Haven region. The state has divided, the State Department of Housing has created 7 coordinated access networks around the state. We call them the CANs, the acronym. And we are, because most of the Valley is part of New Haven County, even though Shelton is in Fairfield, we are part of the Greater New Haven region. We have something called the by name list, and these are people who have called in need of shelter. And that list had gotten up over 1,700 people for the Greater New Haven region.
Okay.
We have not seen numbers that high.
Yeah, like how does that compare to a few years ago?
A few years ago, we were, less than half of that.
Okay, go ahead, Jasmine.
Yeah, and one thing I've been asking some of the nonprofits that address food insecurity, which I think is also relevant to all of the services Spooner House provides, is
they have a pantry as well.
Yes. So back in October, the government shut down, and this caused a temporary expiration of SNAP food stamps. Those have since been restored, but I wanted to ask, did you notice sort of a spike in demand at the time of the shutdown? And has there been any sort of recovery since then, or has it kind of stayed? I mean, it's not like things are cheap all of a sudden.
Exactly. Yes. That very end of October, when people knew they were not going to be getting their SNAP benefits on November 1st, and that first week of November or so before Connecticut, put money in to fund those SNAP benefits, we saw a huge spike in people calling in need of food. We gave out, just so many emergency bags in addition to our regular appointments. We do our regular food pantry by appointment, and we provide 7 to 10 days worth of food per person per household, and that we do once a month for a household. But if people need emergency food, they can come in and get a couple of days worth of food to tide them over until we can get them a regular appointment, or just to fill some gaps. So we saw a huge spike then. It dropped a little bit once those SNAP benefits were restored, but now with the new requirements around receiving Medicaid and SNAP benefits, and people are losing those benefits, we're seeing that creep up again. One of the things that we're thinking about is with the work requirements for SNAP and Medicaid, volunteer hours can count towards that. And so we're looking at ways that we can perhaps, not to say, but to market to those folks who may not be able to secure paid employment for any number of reasons, and want to do volunteer work to be able to meet those work requirements. How can we work together to make that happen?
And then I'm thinking the Valley, nonprofits in the Valley are very coordinated. It's not a silo thing. Everyone knows what everyone else is doing. So I would imagine this might be an opportunity if someone's looking for volunteer hours. Has this been brought up with the conglomerate as a whole, all the nonprofits?
Not in any formal way. There have been conversations certainly around the community, and we may have touched on it briefly in a more formal setting, but we haven't had kind of any real focus on that. And I'm not sure we even have gauged the full need for that. We're just assuming that people are going to need some hours, and how can we, do that? But we haven't undertaken any kind of study or survey to gauge the full need. So that is something for us as a community to consider. I think ideally, the work requirements, that's a whole other whether we should have work requirements or not, and how they determine who's able to work. That's
tough issue. And it's scary.
Yes.
How about in terms of the Great Give specifically? How important is your fundraising efforts, your organization's fundraising efforts today? And do you have any particular programs targeted that you're going to use the Great Give dollars for?
Sure. Yeah, the Great Give is it's a critical event for us every year. Our goal this year is $35,000. We're close. We're probably, I think last I looked, we were around 4,000 short, 3,500, 4,000 short of our goal. So there's still time. Oh, here we go.
Yeah, you're at 90%. Wow. Okay. Oh, look at that, people. You can put Spooner House area congregations together over the top.
Yes. And so
is it your biggest fundraiser? Is this the big one?
As far as our single fundraiser, yes, outside of, grants and things, absolutely. And it's a lot of fun, and,
yeah.
and we try and do, there's always a flurry of Facebook posts, social media posts during the Great Give. And we try to, bring some humor in with some of it to, bring some stories, highlight some volunteers, really, give people a sense of the many lives we touch and the many lives who touch us.
I'm sorry, I keep stepping on you. I'm delirious. But one thing that sort of amazes me, and like last year or the year before, or whenever it was, the VCF came up with that term valleyness, right? You're familiar with that.
I am.
So one thing that just blows me away, not to make it about the Valley Indy, but the fact like a media outlet in 2026 can get 70 people to contribute to it. To me, that says more about the Naugatuck Valley than it does like anything that we're doing. It's just amazing because then there was this. It is valleyness, like the Great Give. Really is that term in action. You hear this cliche that when we first launched, everyone was like, "Well, the Valley sticks together." The Valley, they step up when needed, and is that true? I guess.
Yes, I would say that absolutely is true. While I've been at Spooner House now for 21 years, which I still cannot believe, I hate to admit, but that's really only half my career in nonprofits. And so I've worked at nonprofits, a few in Manhattan. I worked in Jersey City. I worked in Bridgeport, and each was a very unique community. When I came to Spooner House in the Valley, I was amazed at the level of cooperation and collaboration versus competition. And we don't even hear that word very often when we're, talking with our colleagues and even about events like the Great Give. Yes, we're competing for prize money, but I never feel like we're competing for donors because all of the money that comes into the Valley to any of our organizations is helping our community. And we have so many overlaps with our clients. So while we all need money to run our programs and every program fills a critical need. If I'm able to, at Spooner House, we're able to give a family a place to stay and help them get into permanent housing, then they're able to look at things like, oh, well, maybe, my kid needs to go to summer camp, and then the Boys and Girls Club steps up every year to offer scholarships to our shelter kids for that. When, if we've run out of diapers or we don't have the right size in our food pantry and shelter supplies, team steps up with the diaper bank. And so everyone's working together. And of course, then they'll transition to some of these agencies when they leave shelter. BH Care, huge asset and partner to us and doing mental health screenings for our clients and getting them connected to services. So it really is about the whole community.
And I feel like you see this even in the donor list for various nonprofits. If you scroll down and you look at them, it's always like, oh, I know that person. She leads another nonprofit.
Right. That's exactly what I was thinking. It blows me away when you go and look at the people it's employees of nonprofit agencies. As far as I know, it's not the top 1% of income in the country, right? And those are the people out there supporting other nonprofits. And that's a great observation, Jasmine. And that's like the Valleyness. And I don't know, to me, I've never seen that before, but it's quite inspiring.
Right. I have my favorites during the Great Give that I support every year. And I usually have one or two new ones that I, try and support.
And I just came to.
I'd love to do so much more.
There's a new nonprofit. We were going through the list trying to kill time, and I started to get choked up. I was like, oh man, just watching this video of this brand new or this new to me nonprofit. There's so many different ways to help. But and Susan, in terms of, I don't know, there is, at least, I don't know, I feel like this sense of uncertainty about the economy with all that's going on in the nation and the world, and from this, that, and the other thing. Job security for me and my wife is always, you never know. And you've talked about demand for everything is up. Is there a point where the Spooner House has to expand, or is that even in the cards? And that's probably easier said than done, but that's something that would be possible.
Anything is possible. And I firmly believe that just about anything is possible. We haven't had any serious, kind of in-depth conversations around expansion, facilities, at this point, although it's always been kind of, on the back burner, even from the time we built this building, which, we did have a subsidized mortgage on the building, and that is paid off. So that's that was very exciting when we did that. So then the question becomes, what's really needed? Is it more shelter beds, or is it deeply affordable housing? And, I would argue that we really need more deeply affordable housing, because that's the more permanent solution. And, that's a really challenging conversation. And, so many communities are afraid of it. I think people are afraid of what they have, the stereotype of what that means of affordable housing or deeply affordable housing. But if we stop and think about it, a lot of our seniors need deeply affordable housing. A lot of our recent college grads or students that, or trade schools, or even high school graduates who need to move out, they are the people who are in need of deeply affordable and affordable housing. It is not the stereotype that I think so often people conjure up in their minds.
Right. That term has become loaded.
Yes.
We attend P&Z meetings, at any time there's housing of any kind proposed, that you'll hear that comment, well, this better not be affordable housing, and that type of stuff. And then you have the whole thing where, there's that state law where if a developer, if a town looks
30G. Yes.
Yeah. And you can kind of see like, well, I don't know, maybe I don't want to share my opinion, but sometimes it seems like developers are sort of using that as, I don't know, are they really trying to get affordable housing, or are they trying to get their project passed? And they're using that as a threat, which is also there are probably some developers that way. I think other developers are really looking for, yes, they want to get their project built. They are for-profit entities, and I do understand that. And it's, building materials are costly, wages, etc. But there is a way to build in some affordable housing, and maybe their profit margin isn't quite as high, but they won't be needing our services. The other thing is affordable housing is generally 80% of the adjusted median income in a community. How many folks who come out and speak against affordable housing, particularly homeowners, if they had to buy today, would they be in need of affordable housing? Because they're at 80% AMI. I don't know the answer to that, but we've got a lot of households. I'm sure, we've talked about it before, the Alice households, asset limited, income constrained, employed. People are working. The majority of the adult residents at Spooner House have jobs. They are working. It's not, yes, some are fully disabled. Some are quite elderly and not able to work, and maybe on Social Security, even within the shelter.
but those who can are working and they're looking for work. And so, we talk about deeply affordable housing, and people get, even more nervous. But again, and that's usually in the 50 to 60% of AMI.
Still expensive,
still expensive given what wages are, and so many people are living paycheck to paycheck. How many people have an emergency fund if the car needs new tires, or somebody gets sick, and if they don't work they don't get paid, or there's just so many things that can happen. Your kid outgrows his shoes 6 months after you bought them. Right.
Yeah. I feel like it is, because I was just thinking that we're all, we all live paycheck to paycheck, or a lot of us live paycheck to paycheck. And I think I've said this a million times, but like during the pandemic, I was also like shocked that like not only are people living paycheck to paycheck, but turns out like these giant corporations are living as soon as things went down. It was like, we got to fire everybody, which is really deeply unsettling. Forget having to wear a mask, whatever. That's not what really freaked me out. Whatever, I'll cover my chins. It didn't really bother me. But just to see like the how sort of easy it was to almost come tumbling down.
Right.
And it seems like the world, it really hasn't, in terms of economics, or like the average person, it really hasn't turned around since then. That seems to have been some type of whatever that word is. Jasmine,
Right.
you went to Yale.
Demarcation?
Yes, thank you. By the way, Jasmine, valedictorian of her high school class. She let that slip last night.
Oh, congratulations.
Also,
pretty good.
Well, just anecdotally, since you already slipped in the Jasmine went to Yale. Whoa, that flex.
I went to Columbia.
I
went to Columbia, and a dear friend of mine who went to Yale told me Columbia is not a real Ivy, but
You see, Jasmine?
Total respect, Jasmine.
I have my own thoughts on which Ivies are real and which aren't, but I'll save that elitism for another day. But on that note, I will just say anecdotally, like, I went to that school that's theoretically the upper crust, the 1%, so on and so forth, what have you. I don't know anyone who's, even really thinking of home ownership as a viable option in the near to mid future. Like, if we're talking 5 years down the line, granted, I majored in English and now I work in journalism. So I wasn't picking up the finance consulting $8 trillion a year jobs, but just like, even there, I think the average condition for people these days is home ownership just doesn't seem like a viable prospect for a lot of people. And so what are the alternatives?
Exactly. And my kids are in their 20s. My oldest is 30 now. And they're not thinking about home ownership, and their friends aren't really thinking about home ownership for a number of reasons. The cost, of course, but settling in one place, sort of being tied to that place, there's a different outlook. Mm-hmm. But I do think if prices were more affordable, that may shift a little too. So yeah, people are looking for really affordable rents. And, yes, costs go up. Landlords are not doing it for charity. They are not nonprofit. But I do question sometimes, when they're, forcing people out, their lease is up, and so they're kicking them out so that they can jack the rents up and get somebody new in there. To me, that is just unethical. Just because their lease ended. And I know there's been a push at the state level to, kind of that right to tenancy and to stop that practice. But, landlords are very outspoken against that. And I can say that I am a landlord, actually. And so, but I have always tried, we've always tried to keep, our rents. You have to answer that question on the taxes. Are you charging fair market rent? But we're not.
Right. Yeah. And you're saying you're below, right? Just to clarify that you're not. How about
I hope the IRS isn't listening.
I don't know. In terms of like, I live in Derby and I sort of pay attention to Derby, so I have a bias, and I watch a lot of their meetings. And there has been, there's Trolley Point which I don't know. There is some set aside units in Trolley Point, from my understanding, where Derby High School teachers, no, I don't know if it's the high school, but Derby public school teachers are living, at least last I heard. And then the other development in Derby, I believe it's on Minerva. I should have looked up the name. I don't know why I always draw a blank on this, but there's, 100 or so units, and some of those are set aside. Are there any success stories out there?
What for?
Like low affordable housing or workforce housing or whatever the exact term is.
So honestly, I think workforce housing, affordable housing, deeply affordable housing, they're not completely interchangeable. Affordable and workforce housing to a certain extent is deeply affordable, just because of how because of the income levels. It's hard to kind of group it all as workforce housing. But I think Tom Haynes is a big proponent of workforce housing, and has,
up in Oxford. Okay.
Yeah, and he's really been leading the charge to try and create more. The Shelton Grove, it was a Residence Inn on Bridgeport Avenue, was converted to apartments.
Oh, okay. I wasn't aware of that. Okay.
Yes, and they've got some that are affordable. We actually had a client who was able to leave Spooner House and move into Shelton Grove.
Wow. Okay, that's awesome.
So they did have some there, but it's an uphill battle. It's an uphill battle, and we have to find ways that you talk about teachers. There have been a lot of towns and communities now that are creating housing specific for their teachers and first responders when they have paid first responder, paid fire, paid ambulance, because a lot of their service professionals cannot afford to live in the towns where they're working, and so they're trying to create housing for them, which is great on the one hand, but on the other hand, what's going on with your housing prices, and what about other people who may not be in those professions and need someplace to live? So there's no single one perfect solution. We all want a silver bullet. It doesn't exist. We've got to take a lot of different approaches, whether it's transit oriented development, whether it's no exclusions on, multi-family dwellings in certain areas, or, there are lots of different things that have been tossed around. Local zoning is very tight in Connecticut, controls everything, even with 830G, because 830G doesn't really have a lot of teeth. So there are many, many towns that are below that. It's supposed to be 10% of your housing stock is affordable. Many towns are below that and have been given exemptions for a variety of reasons. There's no consequences. We all we need the carrot and the stick, right?
I reported in Westchester County when I was, that's where I'm from originally. And, you're talking communities like Chappaqua, Bedford, Pound Ridge, New York, and the county government for years, obviously out of the Yonkers desegregation case from like the 80s and the need for affordable housing in Southern Westchester, the county put out these affordable housing goals. And it was like, we would write about it, but it just never happened, not to the extent that it was supposed to. So it seems slightly better here in some ways, but still such a huge, huge issue.
I grew up in northern New Jersey in Bergen County, and New Jersey also has local zoning, of course, but the state in the last several years has put in inclusionary zoning regulations at the state level, which has had a very big impact on local zoning boards. And yes, there are problems there too, but that really forced communities to begin to tackle affordable housing issues. They still have a long way to go. Our whole country, I'm not sure any place has enough affordable housing.
Right. Yeah.
Is that the direction you see Connecticut moving? And I'm just thinking of the major housing bill that was passed. Was it last year now? But I've heard some discussion about that. I've heard some grumbling about it at planning and zoning meetings, saying, "Hey, the state is stepping in." So I was just
a political issue. It's very
yeah.
I think it has to. I think it has to. There is no housing equity across the state, and I'm not saying that the state is the answer to equity issues, but they can put pressure in a different way. Yes, most of our cities, larger cities in Connecticut, carry the most affordable housing, and their tax rates also tend to be higher. And the tax rates are what are also funding the educational system and the schools. And so, that gets into a real issue of equity. And then look at the populations of those cities. And we're not allowed to talk about, we're not supposed to talk about diversity, equity, and inclusion anymore, and belonging.
Right.
But
this stream will be pulled any minute now.
Sorry.
Is watching.
I'm joking, but yeah, it is. It is.
Yes. Okay. So Eugene and Jasmine have nothing to do with this, but I am saying that the Valley Independent Sentinel is free and clear.
Yeah. I mean, I live in Derby, and the thing, I mean, what you're talking about, we see, in the mini level in Ansonia and Derby, exactly what you're talking about here,
right.
Where like Derby has a really high mill rate, and they have some. They probably, I'm sure, they both have their 10% or whatever that's the rule.
Derby and Ansonia, yeah. But it's our Black and brown neighbors that are suffering the most with all of these programs, and it's getting worse with all of these federal changes. And we have an ethical, moral responsibility to do something about it, and to fight for our neighbors, fight for our communities, to fight for inclusion and equity across the board.
That is a great summation of this conversation. And I want to thank you so much for coming back on and educating us on, an issue that matters not only in the Naugatuck Valley, but the state of Connecticut and across the U.S. And if people want to support Spooner House, they are very close to their goal. Let's see if our 10 million viewers put them over the top. I'm being facetious. Let me see if I can. I think you're still at 90%.
Well, we'll get there.
There you go. 53 donors.
People have been
you
wonderful.
Guys see that?
Mm-hmm. Yep, more came in since we started. So.
Oh, there we go. All right, that's good.
Since we started.
That's great to hear. But thank you so much again for taking the time, Susan. I very much appreciate it.
Oh, thank you. And this is always a highlight of the event for me, is to come and talk to you folks. And I always enjoy our time together and appreciate all you do for the Valley, keeping us informed, keeping us aware. You're trying to raise money through the Great Give, and you're supporting everybody else to do the same. And you do so much with three of you?
2.5 technically, because Jean's freelance, but yeah, but, 2 full-timers and a freelancer. Thank you.
Such respect and appreciation for all you do. So thank you.
All right, Susan, take care. So good luck with the rest of your Great Give.
Thank you. You as well.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
There we go. That was the great Susan Agame from Spooner House Area Congregations Together. Probably, one of the most well-known nonprofits in the Valley, right? And it's always great to have her, because she's just, that was 30 minutes. For me, it went by like that.
I know. I checked the time a moment ago and I was like, oh, yeah, that zoomed by.
Yeah. So if you're still watching, this is the Valley Indy 2026 Great Give live stream. Although we have stolen Great Give branding, we're not, just for the record, we're just participants in the Great Give. We're not organization. We're not organizers in any way.
I'll be right back. I'm going to step out for a quick
second. Go ahead. Yeah. It is a wonderful way to support nonprofit groups locally, such as Spooner House, our emergency shelter for families. You can't ask for what's more pure than that, right? And before that, we had on Seymour Food to Kids. It's another one you can support. And then the schedule it's 10:33 a.m. May 7th right now. Next is going to be a pre-tape. We're going to be talking, switch gears a little, right? There's certainly a lot of diversity in the nonprofits that are participating, and we're concentrating specifically on the Naugatuck Valley-based nonprofits. But at 11 a.m., we're going to have a pre-taped interview that Jasmine did with Sarah Pereiras of Bunlandia, and that's a bunny rescue organization, another animal-related nonprofit that is participating. We can take a look at the Great Give in general to see how people are doing in whole thing. I'm going to share my screen real quick. Go to that. Go to the Great Give. So there has been $3.1 million raised, just about to cross to $3.2 million. 11,000 donors, you can see there, to 534 organizations. If we switch over to the leaderboard, you can check out in terms of money, and obviously this is wider than just the Valley. This is a greater New Haven. It's a regional 36-hour online fundraiser, and so you see the New Haven Pride Center has raised over $100,000 from 99 donors, which is very well. BH Care, who help a lot of people in the Naugatuck Valley, $63,000 or 64,000 roughly if we round up, with 46 donors. Team Inc. We did see this surge. I think it was like last night, where a bunch of Valley institutions, our nonprofit institutions, jumped to like the top 10, as we see right here. We see Team Inc., BH Care doing well. Then Boys and Girls Club of Lower Naugatuck Valley, nearly $42,000 has been raised. And this is just directly from people. And there's Spooner House. We just had Susan on, $31,000. Center Stage Theater, Shelton-based. We should have had Center Stage on. As I'm looking through this, it's like, oh yeah, but it was a little, organizing this every year. I realize it's not brain surgery, but this always, it's a tough time of year for us because it's budget time. So, the budgets in in Ansonia have become, they're difficult to process or to follow, especially this first year in Ansonia, because there's a new administration, that, and the other thing. So, because I'm looking and I'm like, oh yeah, Center Stage Theater. We haven't had. I remember one year for the Great Give, we went over and we did like a live stream, which was kind of fun during the. I think whoever the reporter was, I think it was Ethan. It had to be Ethan because he's the only other reporter I've done this with. Or one year I had that guy Brian Spears who donated. He sat in with me and helped me for a whole day, which was awesome because I was alone at that point. We only had one employee. But we went there and did a live report from Center Stage, and they did a performance, which was really cool. And we got to do that again. Griffin Hospital, you see right there. They're based in Derby. Looking down really quickly, that's the top 50. Valley Shakespeare. Wow, Valley Shakespeare Festival.
Oh, wow.
That has to be, I'm assuming this is their best Great Give ever. $14,821 from 72 donors. Wow, the number of donors to Valley organizations just it feels to me like they've definitely grown. Adams House in Shelton. We'll do the top 100. There's Shelton Robotics. We had them in our very first Great Give live stream back in the day. And then Connecticut Hurricanes. Wow, the Valley's doing pretty good. Connecticut Hurricanes Drum and Bugle Corps. They've had 91 donors. So people, you can see how the Great Give is really sort of ingrained now in the nonprofit sector, in all these community groups, charities, and stuff like that. It's really become important. I think it's it's our major fundraiser. It's the only time of year we ask people to help out a free website. And I think a lot of other nonprofits also, this is their major fundraiser for especially the smaller nonprofits. St. Vincent de Paul Thrift Shop and Food Bank. I played that video earlier today, $9,000. And there's us, the Valley Independent Sentinel, $9,064. We've had 90 people donate to a media outlet in 2026. Cornell Scott Hill Health Center. They have offices on Wakely Avenue, among many other places. Cardi, Shelton-based museum bus. Housatonic Council, Scouting America, right? Scouting is definitely ingrained in the lower Naugatuck Valley. Going down, Greater New Haven Cat Project. I get a lot of their emails. So that's the top 100. Pretty cool stuff. Let's see our dashboard if we have anybody else to thank. Yes, as a matter of fact, we do. Oh, we've got a couple of more donations. I'll share this real quick. Share screen. Thank you for Jennifer Magri, a longtime supporter of the Valley Indy, and occasionally someone, like I think during the most recent municipal election, someone I vented to and used as a therapist. I apologize for that. I wrote like a 17,000 word email trying to explain something that didn't really matter at the end of the day, but whatever. I get emotional. Jason Edwards,
who helped cover the city elections last year.
Yeah. He's helped out the Valley Indy a lot over the years. Good photographer, and I believe I don't want to dox him, but I think I think he works at Southern. Andrew Chen. Oh, that's one of those NAs. So I don't know if anybody, you can email us or message us on Facebook or Valley Independent Sentinel at Gmail, or contact us on our website. If you make a donation and you meant it to be, I can go in and fix it. And then Susan Malloy, thank you very much. So just in this is like the last hour, we've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 additional donations, which is very cool. And then some of these we read earlier, but we're cooking with gas. What are we? What are we? Wait, I didn't check our
cooking with gas, and we're in the closing stretch. We're at 91%.
91%.
You can also help push us over the edge.
Yeah, good. Keep talking. I'm checking my text messages.
Yeah, just thank you again to everyone who's donated in the last hour and everyone who has donated over the course of this live stream. It is the second day. I think we are significantly more delirious than we were the first day, but it was refreshing to hear from Susan Agame earlier in the hour. I think that woke me up a little bit again. It's always great to hear from her. I know she's been on the stream for much longer than I've been here, but always look forward to hearing from her, getting an update, and just really a wealth of knowledge on so many different subjects. So it's great to have her insight. Always a great part of this stream.
And I do appreciate, some of the people that were like, when we first did this Great Give live stream, because you got to understand, like, nobody knew what the heck the Valley Indy was. You know what I mean? I remember that when we did the in person, some of the nonprofits that were coming in, I think they were expecting News 8, like a studio, and they walk in and it's like schlubby me, probably smells funky in here. But they sat down and we worked it out. So like, I guess there's like I kind of like, oh yeah, you were with us when, you just thought we were a weirdo blog, but
we're scrappy now, and we were even scrappier then.
Right. Scrappy. Yeah. I just got a photo texted to me that I'll share. It's undated. Some of the Jean has like her finger on crazy, like just the random things that she texts me really cracks me up. Oh, there was a call an hour ago to Derby High School, but I think they're doing their mock crash today. Their prom.
I think Ansonia just did that this week.
Yeah, it's prom season. Oh, be careful out there.
Yeah, did you have the mock car crashes when you were in school? Those presentations?
I probably skipped them.
I was gonna say I think we had one, but I don't remember it too well.
Yeah, I don't know if we did. I honestly don't remember.
Yeah, I grew up near an Air Force base, so we had a bunch of recruitment events all the time. We had I think they brought out this vehicle that had like a bunch of different simulators in it, and I just remember they brought that out to the playground, and we all just went in, and I think there was like a flight simulator or something in there. I don't know, it was weird.
Oh, to like mimic what it's like to drive drunk, you mean? That one of those things?
Well, no, this was a completely separate thing. I was just thinking.
Oh,
total tangent. Just I was playing a game of associations in my head, and that came up.
Oh, thank you for sharing the inner workings of your mind. I appreciate that. A little scary.
The inner machinations of my mind are an enigma, to quote Patrick Star from SpongeBob.
Oh, I thought that was a Harry Nilsson song for a second there. Let me see if I can get this. You know what? I can't get it to my PC. Can I email it?
Are you trying to get the photo that Jean sent?
Oh, you got that too? Oh, maybe it's easier if you can do it.
Let me see if I can.
I was trying to airdrop it to the Mac, but I'm not using the Mac for the Great Give. I'm using a PC.
Oh yeah, let me do this then.
Don't
'cause-
say what it is. Let's just
Yeah, right. It'll be a surprise.
we'll bring it up and then we'll read Gene's text message. Although we should really do. My first thought, I'm going into grifter mode here. I'm like, wait, what is our? I really checked my phone for was to use our calculator. Blah blah blah. So while Jasmine does that, I'm gonna shoot a quick text message. No, I don't want to do that. What are you doing? Clear. Stop that.
Right now, I'm technologically illiterate. How do I find the photo I just saved?
Oh, here
we
your
go.
downloads. Oh, right on your phone. Oh, who knows?
They change it all of the time.
Like half of me wants to go, okay, Gene sent us a very sensational photo. If you want to be scintillated, please donate $936 so we can reach our goal, and you will be rewarded by us sharing Gene's private text message to us.
I hate that wording.
Oh yeah. Yeah. No, it's not revenge porn. Sorry, I didn't mean to insinuate that. I'm just ham and egging it here.
Try again.
Okay, you said it's in our media assets.
Well, it failed to upload, but I'm trying again.
Well, Gene has
No,
a
it's
spotty
there. It's
track
there.
record when it comes to photos. Okay, I see.
No,
it
that
there.
was a StreamYard issue. That was not a
It
Gene
wasn't
issue.
just a giant photo or a.
No, it was reasonably sized.
All right, so let me get rid of. We're still sharing our thing. Get rid of that for a second. So we just got this photo. I'm going to bring it up. Do you want to read the Gene's text?
Yeah.
When I bring it up.
So message received from Jean Falbo Sosnovich. Let me pull it up. She said, former Ansonia Mayor Cassetti just texted this photo, said he needed a cop for a construction job he's working on. And look who shows up for duty, former Derby Mayor Rich Zekin.
How does that even happen?
I don't know.
Like, can you request? Was that a request? Was that like a special request? All right, so that is
Dave Cassetti, if you're listening, let us know.
the update from former mayors David Cassetti and Rich Zekin. And I'll say donate.valleyindy.org. We're so close to reaching the $10,000 goal. And when you stepped out, there is a prize going on right now.
Oh, right now?
Well, it's 15 minutes left. It's more of a general prize, but the Jewish Foundation of Greater New Haven Prize for Youth Educational Enrichment. The organization working in youth education with the most unique donors between 10 a.m. and 11 a.m. can win an additional $1,800. Assuming that's not a typo, because it looks like it put an extra zero in that one.
Oh, I guess I did that for both, but yeah, $1,800.
Yeah, so that's a good one. And so, like, what that means, if you go to the greatgive.org, you can see which organizations qualify.
And it looks like in the Valley, the Friends of the Derby Public Library, that's eligible. Derby Neck Library Association, also eligible. I think I think those are the two Valley-based, unless I'm missing one of these other ones. But you can check for yourself. You can double check.
What were the two? You said Derby Neck Library and what?
And Derby Neck and Friends of the Derby Public Library. So both of the Derby libraries are eligible for this.
Oh, there you go. So if you donate to either Derby Neck or Derby Public Library, Friends of the Derby Public Library right now, give it to them both, right? And then you can possibly get them
an extra $1,800.
Extra $1,800. Pretty cool. And then at 11 a.m. in 12 minutes, we're going to have a pre-taped interview with Sarah Pereira of Bunlandia. Is it Bunny Rescue? Is that the term? Bunny Rescue? I just like saying that. It's a bunny rescue.
It is a bunny rescue. Bunny rescue and rehab.
Bunny Rescue Org. That's pretty cool. You know what? Since we have, I don't know if we have any viewers. We did have. I saw specifically the city of Derby shared our stream, which is appreciated. That was pretty cool. But I still can't get over how we bombed with our trivia contest. Like, you people really missed out. You know, like, it's a great give, and we appreciate everybody donating to us and all these other nonprofits. But we were looking to give stuff to you, these coffee cups, right? postage on us. We weren't even going to send it and bill you for it. But no one really participated. There was one guy who got one of the questions correct. And but then he was like, whatever, keep your cup.
Our messages are still open, I believe.
If you're out there. I don't remember his name.
Al Lucarelli.
I'm still confused why there was like 19 Lucarellis in the chat at once. I was confused by that.
There was only one, and there was just another person referred to. Yeah, you know what? We don't have to relitigate all of it right now. Al Lucarelli, if you're there, let us know. We owe you a mug.
Yeah. So, I mean, look, I could ask the questions again. I don't know if this current audience was watching last night. I mean, I don't think I can give it. It wouldn't be fair. It would be a rigged contest if I said, okay, you're going to win. But just for giggles, the first question that no one could get, if you know the answer, put it in our chat. Which former member of the Seymour Board of Select Persons was a libertarian before being elected to the board?
This is not for a mug. This is just for funsies.
This is just like as I said, disclaimer. We had the contest was last night. We already revealed the answer. Technically, you could go back to yesterday's 17 million hour live stream and try to find where we did this. It was at 7 p.m. last night. So we're not getting anything. Viewership might have dropped off again. But it was Christopher Bowen, for goodness sakes. Nobody remembers that, huh?
Which one-time Derby alderman and former treasurer was also formerly a libertarian.
Wait, what?
Which former Derby alderman, as well as former Derby city treasurer, was at one time a libertarian.
Oh, right. Surprise, surprise. Rick Dunn. That's right. Yeah.
Dunn, once upon a time.
Wild.
That was a fun piece of trivia we learned last night.
All right. I don't know what else to say now. I'm at that point. Donate.valleyindy.org. If you can't think of what to say, donate.valleyindy.org.
So true. And I will just point out there's a few different, match fund pools that are going on throughout the Great Give. There's one for all of the organizations participating. There's some extra money that gets distributed based on... There's some math involved.
Where you live. And that's why when you donate to if you donate to the Valley Indy, it asks you, do you live in one of these towns? And
yes.
If you live in the Valley, that that means the VCF kicks in to make your donation go further.
Exactly. I mean, that's one of the reasons why the Great Give is such a good time to give. Your dollar goes further during the Great Give. And I also wanted to point it out because this upcoming interview with Sarah Pereira from Bunlandia, there's a separate match pool that's specifically for organizations which work with animals. I forget the name of it. I'll have to pull it up, but I believe Bunlandia is one of the, let me see if I can find it. The Kanapaki match, and I might be mispronouncing that, but that's the money that it makes your donations to animal organizations go further. Bunlandia is eligible for it. Coco's Animal Rescue Efforts of Seymour also eligible. Just kind of looking through to see if there's anything else Valley-based here.
The Connecticut Wildlife one that we've mentioned a couple of times. Maybe.
CT Wildlife, I don't think they're on here. Maybe it's... I'll have to check the exact eligibility, but I don't see CT Wildlife Rescue on here. Friends of the Shelton Animal Shelter, though. That one is also eligible for that match funding. And that's ongoing throughout the Great Give. That, I believe, is not time-specific, as a lot of the prizes are.
Cool stuff. And is the Ansonia Animal Shelter, is that another one people can give to? I don't remember if we read that one.
I don't think they're on here this year, which they definitely exist. They are a fundraising arm, but I don't think they're participating in the Great Give this year. We ran into the same thing with the Friends of the Ansonia Library. That is a nonprofit fundraising arm, just not participating in the Great Give, but still there and worth supporting.
Yeah, and I, just to throw in our 2 cents, if you're not, I mean, obviously we get it. Like, we don't have a development arm. We don't have the ability to process credit cards or anything like that. I mean, look, there's a decent amount of businesses out there that owe the Valley Indy a couple of $100, and it's like, I don't know. I don't even have time to invoice people, but that's why the Great Give is huge for us, because it makes it so easy. It's just a matter of to get involved is just filling out forms, right? I mean, yeah, you got to, maybe I'm simplifying it a little bit, you got to upload your tax stuff and all that good stuff, but it's definitely worth it. It probably takes a half hour, 40 minutes for the first time to go through the process, and you have to keep your stuff updated. But it's so, especially for small organizations, it's great.
Oh, Jean Falba Sosnovich knew Chris Bowen. She just texted it in the chat.
Texted it in the chat, or texted
sorry, our group chat. She said, "Chris Bowen,
Jean, come out of hiding and get a Facebook account." I like how Jean's participating just through text. Oh yeah, there it is. Am I allowed to play? Yeah, you can play, but can you do me a favor, Jean? Text Mayor Cassetti back, or former Mayor Cassetti, and say, thanks, we'll run that photo for $900, if you would, please. We're almost at goal, Jean.
Take us over the top.
That would be awesome. Ha 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 ha.
Donate.valleyindy.org.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah, I feel like we do have a couple. We have one new donor, Nick and Pat Tarasovic. Thank you very much. Patricia Tarasovic, I believe she had nominated us back in 2017 for a community service award from the Greater Valley Chamber of Commerce. And we did get a silver medal back in 2017. I remember, like, myself, my wife, I don't know if did my wife go? I think my kids were really young at the time. But Jody Gill and Ethan Fry, we were all there, and I got to put on a tie, and it was really an honor. It was pretty cool. So,
is that the one hanging on our wall over there, or is that separate? Behind the door, it's kind of hidden.
What? Oh yeah, that's just a proclamation from the state of Connecticut. Oh, okay. Acknowledging that we got the award. It's actually on the actual award itself. The silver medal is on the window over there.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay.
Window. Oh, you see it?
Oh, now I do. I see it. And we have
only been there since the day you walked in.
Well, no, I've definitely seen it before.
Now we're talking about things around the office. Maybe I'll get our third camera going. You want to go on a tour of? You want to see how bare bones the Valley Indy is? How do I do this?
Our ragtag organization. I mean, I could just pick up my tripod and use that as the.
Well, I got the third camera. Oh wait, what just happened? Oh, I have to add it to the stage. Oh, I have 4 minutes because we got our next pre-tape going on at 11. So
you're seeing the edge of my desk right now. I'm on the other end of that.
Right. There's now I'm holding this thing. There's Jasmine over there. There's our, I don't know why I bought.
That's our brick wall.
Yeah, I got that from Amazon because that was the thing. Like when we first got this office, I saw everything on YouTube. They would have a brick wall behind them. So I bought that.
Our Great Give pennant.
Yeah, that's a collector's item. We got the new. I still have a couple of those. I think we took like 20 of them back in the day, and there's one right behind my head as well. So there's our stuff. There's the top of my balding head. There's me right there. That's me with former President Bill Clinton, who I ran into in a photo mat back in the day. That paper no longer exists, but I had an impromptu interview with Bill Clinton right after he left office. He was he lived in Chappaqua. I don't know if anybody remembers that. He and his wife bought a house in Chappaqua, and he stopped off to get some film developed. And I had rushed in because I was on deadline, and this was back before, really websites. You know what I mean? So we were doing digital. I mean, we were doing film, and I was on deadline. I had taken pictures of.
It's before most websites. The Electronic Valley existed.
Right, that existed, yeah. There's our ceiling. There's Nixon's the One, a replica Nixon poster that was given to us by John Marini back in the day as a joke. We got the SBJ Code of Ethics on the wall.
That's our ethics and Nixon wall.
There's that pizza box. That's the specifically branded Connecticut Pizza Trail by our landlord down there who owns Zoe's Pizza. I Sell the Dead is a movie Spears worked on.
Oh wait, and if you pan to the right past the Nixon poster, Oh, well, hang on. I think the light is covering it. You can just barely see taped to the wall very clumsily. That's my printed out and taped together GIS map of Ansonia.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did work in a newsroom. Yeah, like back in the day, the whole wall was maps back before the internet was everywhere. There's our no parking sign that back when we had a parking space. And that's how Main Street Seymour out there. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. What else do you want for nothing? Valley, I don't see the Hartford Current doing that, huh?
And that is the entire Valley Indy.
That's it. Yeah. We're on top of each other.
Oh, Gene Falbo Sosnovich says Cassetti wants to call in.
Wants to call in? What's he want to talk about?
I don't know.
I mean, he's got my cell phone. Although, wait, we reached out to. I don't know if maybe he has us blocked. Although he can't do it right now because we're
not at this time.
Yeah, we have a pre-tape going in 60 seconds actually.
In 0 seconds, the time just switched over.
Yeah,
it is now 11 a.m.
That would have been awesome 5 minutes ago. Sorry.
And we are very excited to welcome here in just a moment as we are pulling it up, Sarah Pereiras from Bunlandia. This is a pre-taped interview we did. I don't remember when exactly we recorded it. It was recent, but she's great. She brought along a guest. I believe his name is Benji. He's a bunny, and it's awesome. So just waiting for that to be pulled up, and it is.
Sorry, I had to enlarge it, then I had to shrink it back down. All right, here we go. You ready?
Okay. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to The Great Give, a 36-hour give-a-thon where you can help the wonderful Valley nonprofits continue to do great work. At the time you're seeing this, I think we will have already been live for a little bit, but my name is Jasmine Wright, and joining us today is a returning guest, a very wonderful guest who we've had in years past. So please welcome Sarah Pereiras from Bunlandia Rabbit Rescue and Rehab. Hi, Sarah. How are you?
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. And you have a guest joining us today.
Yeah, if I can get him to
show. Yeah, the green screens are so finicky.
Yeah, okay. This is Benji.
Hi, Benji.
Hi, Benji. He's like, where's my parsley? I don't care. Here. There we go. So, you can't see him at all. Okay.
He was eating invisible parsley.
Yeah. So Benji came to us from a city kill shelter with a head tilt. He just has an ear infection, so he's already doing great. You could see like this eye is a little squinty. It's all just the ear infection and the facial paralysis.
Yeah.
He's wonderful. He's like, I just want my parsley. And he's just one of the many medical cases we've taken in so far in 2026. Just because city shelters, municipal animal controls, they're limited in what they can do for rabbits in general, especially if they need like more specialized vet care. So when they reach out, we try to step in and take those cases as well.
Yeah, and it seems like, I mean, just scrolling through the social media feeds, it seems like it's been a busy year for medical intakes. And I want to return to that, but first, just for anyone who is maybe just tuning in or who has, just been hanging around the stream, tell us a little bit about Bunlandia. Who are you? What do you do?
So we are a 501c3 nonprofit domestic rabbit rescue, which means we take in pet rabbits, excuse me, that have been dumped, surrendered, picked up by animal control. We cannot take wild rabbits. That's a whole different species, a whole different type of rehab. But we tend to take in bunnies like Benji here, who was surrendered because they had health issues. So his original owner surrendered him to a shelter, not realizing that the shelter, as most do, can euthanize for space, or if the resources are limited. And when that happens, those shelters will reach out to rescues and see if we could take. And we were able to take Benji, get him the vet care he needed. And now he has a long, promising life ahead of him.
Yeah. And where are you located, and where all do you take in bunnies from?
We're based out of Seymour. We have fosters scattered throughout the valley. and into other parts of Connecticut as well. But we try to keep our fosters local to the Valley or within 45 minutes of us. We take primarily from Connecticut on a case-by-case basis. We will take from the tri-state area and up into like lower New England. Benji is actually from the Staten Island region, but we were contacted and we were able to help. Most of our intakes this year, actually all of them with the exception of Benji, are from Connecticut. Be that owner surrenders, rabbits that have been found outside or taken in by animal controls.
Yeah, so Benji is a traveler.
He is. Yeah, he gets around.
Yeah. Do you have a fundraising goal that you are trying to meet this year?
Last year was our best great give yet. We made just under 3,500. We seem to get bigger every year. So if we could hit $4,000, that would be, oh my goodness, that'd be astronomically just amazing.
$4,000. You heard it here. So where does, when people donate, and you can see if you're watching this right now, hopefully we'll have put it in the chat. There's also a ticker at the bottom of the screen that has, if you go to the Great Give, you go to Bunlandia, you can make your donation there. But where does the money go when people donate?
Primarily it goes to vet care. That is our single biggest expense. We average anywhere from $500 to $2,500 a month in vet care, depending on what we need. A good month is just a couple well visits and some spays, and we're right about like $500 to $800. Months where we have things like Benji or like CT scans, we can easily get into the $2,000 to $3,000 range. After vet care, it goes to food, pellets, hay, toys, things like that for the rabbits. But 100% of your funds go to these buns in one way or another. I don't take a salary. This is not my real job. This is my unpaying full-time job, as I like to call it. But every single dime dollar goes right back to these guys.
Absolutely. And how many bunnies are you currently taking care of?
Right now, we are hovering right around 25. That includes bunnies like Benji who are not yet cleared for adoption. And I believe we have about 18 rabbits that are spayed, neutered, vaccinated, and looking for forever homes. Those are posted every week on our Facebook. We feature the bun of the week, and that's a bunny that's ready to go, looking for his or her forever home. Then we also have about 12 rabbits in permanent sanctuary between us and in sanctuary foster homes that can't be adopted due to chronic illness or age. We have, I think, 2 behavioral bunnies right now that just don't like anyone. So they kind of just stay with us because they're like, we have the biters. We took in a rabbit a couple months ago who came to us with cancer, and she's 10. So both of those factors, she gets to stay with us for the duration of her life.
Yeah, absolutely. And do the numbers fluctuate a lot over time, or do they mostly hover right around?
We tend to hover between like 20 to 25, and that's with us having to say no a lot, unfortunately. We probably get conservatively 10 surrender requests every 2 weeks.
It's almost one a day. That's
that's on a slow week. It spikes up. In about a month, you'll start seeing the Easter dumps and the Easter surrender requests. And I could easily have like several hundred rabbits in rescue if I just said yes to everyone, but that's not feasible. And it's not fair to the rabbits in our care.
Yeah. And you mentioned Easter. We are coming right out of that Easter season right now. And you put a hold on adoption requests during Easter to prevent people from, making impulse adoptions that later they want one because it's Easter and maybe later they realize bunnies are a lot of work. So what should people know if they're interested in adopting a bunny? What are some of the things that they should know about taking care of one?
The biggest thing is they are a lot of work. The pet store size cages that they will sell you are not anywhere close to sufficient. They need at least 16 square feet of space. They are very smart. Benji knows his name. He knows his schedule as far as this is when I get breakfast. And vet bills are more than a dog or a cat. And they do require specialized vet care. They can't go to just any vet. They are a lot of work. They're very intelligent. The unneutered and unspayed females that you buy at the pet store for like $50, $60 can end up costing you several $1,000s in vet bills just to get them spayed and neutered. An unneutered adolescent male, you cannot litter box train them. They will not calm down, so to speak. They will spray urine like a cat. But if you neuter them, they're much better. So it's a lot more than the cute little pocket pet that the pet stores want to think that they have. I think they're more work than a dog or cat.
Yeah, absolutely. I have a friend who has a bunny, and they converted basically their entire dining room area into that's the bunny's room now.
Yeah.
And he's wonderful. He's such a cute bunny. His name is Mazzy. He's awesome.
Oh, I
He
love
has
that.
the big floppy ears, but he has a lot of work.
Yeah.
So that
like Benji here was surrendered because they couldn't afford vet care, which is valid. You could see he's got the floppy ears, and he's got infections in them. Oh, I'm sorry, buddy. Leave me alone. You can see his head is, a little bit smushed, kind of like you would see in like a bulldog or a Frenchie, and they get the same type of breathing issues on this particular breed, but they're really cute, and he's one of the more popular breeds, and people don't realize that the cuteness comes with a price, and that price is usually expensive medical bills. He needs a CAT scan soon, and that's going to run us conservatively like $1,700 just to make sure that the infection in his ear is resolved.
Yeah. And you said this has been a busy time for medical intake.
It has. I don't know what it is, but this year we've taken in 10 rabbits, and 7 or 8 of them have been medical cases. We have Benji here. We had a rabbit who came in, Gideon. He was so malnourished from neglect, he could not stand, he could not walk. So he hasn't needed medical procedures the way that Benji has, but a lot of physical therapy, a lot of getting him strong enough that he can walk again and he can function, and he's doing great. We've had Tinsel came in late last year, like a week before Christmas, with horrible bone infection in his face, and he needed the eye removed, but he wasn't a candidate because the infection was so widespread. So it's just a lot of medical care, hospice care in the case of Tinsel or Cream Cheese, our 10-year-old with terminal cancer. It's just making them comfortable and giving them the best days that they have left.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think you have a term for this on the Great Give page. There are some sanctuary rabbits, right? This is a home for some of the rabbits that just kind of need that space. So I want to flip around my question from earlier. We talked about what should people know before adopting a rabbit. Say you have considered that and you're all on board. What are some of the reasons why people should adopt a bunny, assuming they're ready for the work?
Well, they're the best. They each have their own distinct personality. Like Benji is very fond of me. I think he thinks I'm his girlfriend. He's not super fond of he loves everyone, don't get me wrong, but like there's something about me that he's just like, I hung the moon. But then I have other rabbits who, as long as I feed them, they don't really need me. It's like a cat. So they're very smart. They can learn their names. They play with toys. They can be litter box trained quite easily. They're clean they're clean animals, cleaner than I would say like a dog or cat. And if he does have an accident and like goes number 2 on the floor, it's a lot easier to clean up than a dog. So that's something I hear a lot is like, oh, you could just sweep it up. And but that rarely happens, especially Benji's quite good. But they are like any other animal, any other person. They have personalities. Some of them love children, some of them don't. Some of them are braver than others. There's all different sizes. So if you think like, I don't want, Benji here who weighs maybe 5 pounds, we have rabbits who weigh 15 and are basically like having a dog, but you don't have to walk them outside when it's snowing or raining or so I think they're the best. I know I'm biased, but I think they're the best pet you could have.
No, it really is incredible. The variation in sizes across rabbits is crazy. They really come in every size. So what does the adoption process look like for someone who's interested?
So we have a form to fill out. It does take about 15-ish minutes, but it's the same application if you were to get a larger animal. We want to know, how do you plan on keeping them? We do indoor only. Do you have any other pets in the house? If you live with someone else, be it a family member or a roommate, are they on board with you bringing an animal into the house? If you rent, is your landlord okay with you having an animal? Because we see that a lot. People will get a rabbit or a cat or a dog, and then the landlord says, hey, no pets. And then the rabbit, cat, or dog need to find a new place to live. So we try to prevent that. We want to know, like, what do you have in mind for vet care? What do you want to feed them? We provide guidance on all of that as well. We can recommend vets in the area. If you think you may want to adopt, but you're not sure, we have a foster to adopt program. So you can care for one of the bunnies in your home with our guidance. And then if you think this is the right fit for you, fantastic, we can move forward with adoption. If you maybe just want to give these bunnies a safe place to land before their forever family comes, we do foster options as well. Yeah, I've tried to be very accessible. If you message us on Facebook or Instagram, or you could email us, that's all on our Great Give page as well. I will get back to you no later than within 3 days, because I do have a lot of bunnies to care for and I do have a full-time job, but I try to be as receptive as possible.
Yeah, and you might have said this. Where do people access the form again? Is that available from the Facebook page?
It's on the Facebook page. If you don't see it easily accessible and you go to one of our pages, on Monday post, it's on the bottom of every Meet a Rescue Monday post that we have. If we feature rabbits, it'll be there. And I will try to, if I post a photo of a rabbit that's adoptable, I'll say like, hey, you can adopt him here. And I click the link, or you can message us and say, hey, I can't find it, but I want to talk about Cal. I'll send you the link and we can have that conversation.
Okay, great. And it really is a wonderful Facebook page. It's I like seeing all the life updates on the various bunnies. You mentioned that your adoptions foster process are indoor only.
Yes.
And that are bunnies like cats, and that you can't really keep them outside because birds of prey, so on and so forth. Is that
There's a lot of things. Birds of prey for sure. Heat, they can't like sweat or pant the way that like a dog can. So they can overheat quite easily. Moreover than just birds of prey, foxes, raccoons. I've seen raccoons just completely break into the traditional outdoor rabbit hutches. They can get scared really easily and break their backs. We've seen that happen. Ticks, fleas. There's a virus called RHD, rabbit hemorrhagic virus, that is essentially like rabbit Ebola. It has like a 99% fatality rate. All of our rabbits are vaccinated against it. But just, and if, in my view, if you're bringing home a member of the family, bring them inside. They do so much better. They're happier inside. They will contribute to your life and your happiness better inside. It's just, you can't bond with someone that lives in the yard and you're in the house.
Right. And can rabbits, just out of curiosity, can rabbits be emotional support animals? I don't know what the rules surrounding all of that are.
I don't know about like the official paperwork, but I've brought rabbits to like family and friends who have like wakes or things like that. I'll bring them to the repast, and I mean, they get comfort from them. I get comfort from them if I'm having a bad day and this guy's just chilling on me eating his parsley. Like, you can't really be too upset.
Yeah. So what does, I mean, you mentioned this is your full-time unpaid job. What does a day in the life look like? How do you balance maintaining Bunlandia with the rest of your life?
Coffee, lots of coffee. So I work for an aviation company, and that's a normal Monday through Friday job. I usually wake up a couple hours before I have to actually go to the office, and everyone here gets breakfast, medications for the bunch who need it. Right now we have a rabbit who needs fluid therapy, so it's like sub-Q fluids out of the IV bag. She gets that as soon as I wake up in the morning. So take care of them, make sure they're fed, watered, medicated, leave for work. I try to pre-plan all of my social media posts the night before or the day of, so that's not something I have to worry about during the day. Sometimes, like this morning, we had an 8:15 vet appointment in Wilton, so that happened, and then I came to work, and now I'm on break talking to you. So it's just a lot of scheduling myself and keeping to that schedule. If something happens, or maybe I don't clean one more litter box that night, it's just more work the next day. So it's just a lot of keeping myself to a schedule and balancing everything, which is coffee helps.
It I imagine takes a lot of coffee to balance a full life while also taking care
I'm a
of
big fan of
25 living
coffee
things.
coffee and Red Bull. Big fan.
Oh yeah. I'm insane. I drink Red Bull for the taste. I just like it.
You know, the white peach one is awesome. It's my favorite one.
Yeah. And so just shifting gears a little bit, what's sort of how did Bunlandia come into being? How did you decide that this was going to be a thing? How did you make that leap?
So I previously volunteered at Everybody Counts, which is now based in Ellington, and Hop Along Hollow in Norwalk. I volunteered with them for years. During COVID, I was fostering because you couldn't go and volunteer every week in your hourly shifts with the world shut down. And then I would help transport rabbits to and from rescue. I also admin a Facebook group called the Bunderground, which transports rabbits to rescue, to adoptive homes from rescue. So I would find myself holding rabbits until we could get them either to Massachusetts or down to Connecticut. And I always wanted to start a rescue. I thought it would be something I did maybe closer to retirement age. And I was like, you know what? We're already doing it. Let's just do it. So we started in December of 2021. We're going to be 5 this year, which is crazy. It's been a blur. But in those 5 years, we've saved just about 215 rabbits.
Wow, that's
crazy to think of.
Right? Huge number. But yeah, and do you have any plans for the next year? Is it sort of, are you trying to sort of keep things as they are now? Keep up the balancing act, keep taking in bunnies? Do you have any big initiatives that you're going for?
We are starting to finally have a website. That's in the works because I had to find someone who was willing to help me with that because I'm not technological savvy when it comes to any of the coding. So we're going to do a website this year. We're trying to do some more events. We just did our second bunny yoga this past weekend. So if any yoga instructors are listening and want to do bunny yoga, reach out. We would love to do it with you.
I'm going to interject. What is bunny yoga?
So it's exactly what it sounds like. It's people do their yoga practice and the bunnies kind of hop around and usually crawl on top of you while you're in like a plank position. And it's the same as like, I think that got popular with goat yoga. And now people are doing bunny yoga. There's pig, there's kitten, there's puppy. So we just did our second bunny yoga up in North Haven on Sunday. And the bunnies love it. The people love it. We usually do like a half-hour yoga session, and then you get like 20 minutes to play with bunnies, ask some questions. And it's just a great time. It's great for us to get that knowledge that like, hey, we exist and we're here. We've gotten a couple foster inquiries from that event, which is amazing. So trying to do more events like that. Trying to just get our name out there that like, hey, we're here. We would love to help. In any way that we can. So website is coming up, hopefully in a couple months. And this time of year, we push for our garden as well, because we supply as much as we can in the summer to offset our grocery budget, because these guys spend about $70 a week in produce. You can see Benji's munching on his parsley intermittently as we talk.
Yeah, he's been having a nice snack throughout the interview.
Yeah, he's like happy as a clam over here. Because it's really not salad time, but he can have a snack. That's fine.
Yeah, and you might have said this toward the start. Is Benji up for adoption? He has some ongoing medical stuff, right?
Yeah,
right.
He's not up for adoption yet. We have some chronic ear infection issues we're battling. So he's on, this is week 3 of his 8-week oral medication regimen, and then we're going to recheck him. So he may end up being sanctuary, or he may end up needing a pretty extensive ear surgery. That's all yet to be seen. But our hope is that one day he will be able to get adopted, because he's great. That's my hair.
That's not parsley.
He gives free haircuts. Yeah.
That's wonderful. Fingers crossed for Benji. And
yeah.
I mean, as you said, it seems like he's happy as a clam, doing well.
Yeah. I mean, if he ends up having to stay with me full time, I'm not going to be upset about it. But he would make someone really happy. He's a great rabbit.
Yeah. That's pretty much all of the questions that I had. Do you have anything else that you want to touch on? Anything you want to bring up?
Not really. Just this time of year, especially if you see a rabbit outside that doesn't look like the normal rabbits you see outside, the little tiny cute brown ones, call someone. Call animal control, call a rescue. You can message me on Facebook and send me a picture, and I'll be able to tell you, like, yeah, that rabbit should not be outside, or like, oh no, that's just a well-fed cottontail. We can't take in cottontails if there's one injured, but the website on CT Deep has a list of rehabbers that can help. But yeah, rabbits like Benji here shouldn't be outside, and they won't make it. So if you see one, say something.
Yeah, is there a quick and easy way to, if you're just a random observer looking, like, can you tell apart a wild and domesticated rabbit?
It can be hard depending on the coloring. All wild rabbits do have that like brown kind of black, it's called an agouti coat. All wild rabbits will have that coat. None of them would be quite this brown. None of them would be white with red eyes. They'll all be about the same size. Their ears are narrower than Benji's, and their face is more pointed. And they are skittish. A lot of rabbits who are dumped outside, they will wait in the same spot they're dumped, or they will approach a human because they don't know what they're doing. It's like if you dropped me off in like the middle of New York City, I might not really know what to do.
Right.
So it's the same. Benji would have no idea what to do outside. And that also unfortunately makes them an easy target for the outside cats and the foxes and everything else.
Right. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for joining. It's so great to have you back. It's always wonderful having you on. And just confirming, the ticker we have going down at the bottom, that is the best place to donate right now, right?
Yes. Within the next 36 hours, that's the best spot. That gives us the best chance of getting as big of a donor match as we can. And if you want to donate after the Great Give, you can view that on our website. We have Zephy, we have a Venmo, a PayPal, or you could just reach out for an address if you would prefer to send a check, and I'd be happy to give you our mailing address.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for joining, and thank you for bringing Benji along, and have a wonderful rest of your Great Give.
You as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right. See ya.
All right. And we are back live, right? We are here. I've stopped sharing the screen. Everything's blurry at this point. I might be having a heart attack, but that was Sarah and Benji from Bunlandia.
And thank you for attending. Thank you for showing up. Thank you to Sarah, and thank you to Benji. And you can support Bunlandia. Have put the links in the chat. Awesome organization. Been on the Great Give 2 or 3 times now.
Yeah.
Always great to have them here.
Let's see how they're doing. I just have their page brought up.
Yeah.
We just had Bunlandia on, and they're 43% of the way toward their goal. They have raised a very respectable $1,735 of their $4,000 goal. They have 23 donors. So look, you get pictures of bunny rabbits, right? Come on.
And frequent updates too. If you check out their social media pages, we were talking about this in the interview. There are so many cute pictures of bunnies, so many updates on just their lives, and it's a wonderful organization. And I'm very thankful for all of the bunny pictures that show up in our Facebook feed because of it.
Yeah, that's pretty. You could see like they even say $10 helps to feed one of the rabbits and rescue for a day. $25 provides 1 dose of flea tick mite treatment for a new intake. Very cool stuff based here in Seymour. That we're in front of the Seymour train station. That's what you hear right now. So help them out. 501c3 and one of about 60 to 65 Valley-based nonprofits participating in the Great Give, which is a 36-hour online fundraiser that started 8 a.m. yesterday and continues into 8 p.m. tonight. We are getting multiple messages from Jean Rabososnovich, who is now turned into our guest booker, right? She's like become a producer behind the scenes. She's trying to get people to call in.
It always amazes me how a lot of these nonprofit leaders, this isn't even their full-time job. This is just something they're doing on the side, out of the good of their heart. Sarah Pereira's from Bunlandia, Seymour Food to Kids too. That's just so much work getting done, and it's not even what they're getting paid for.
And again, I like the theme of today is like moms get stuff done.
Yes.
Right. It's been all moms all the time. during this segment of what are we on part 4? This is part 4 of the Valley Indy 2026 Great Give Marathon live stream. So it's just about lunchtime. There is kind of we were supposed to have a guest on at noon, but we had to rearrange things, which is, I'm happy we were able to accommodate. But there is sort of a lunch hour double draw, right? So anybody who donates, here's how it works. Any organization receiving donations could get an extra $500 or $1,000. But what's the time frame? I look at I'm
12 p.m. to 2 p.m.
12 p.m.
So it'll still be going whenever we get back from lunch.
So starting in 30 minutes, 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. That's a good time if you're looking to help out. A lot of times, and I realize it now, like in past Great Gives, a lot of times readers, people will email me and ask if I have a specific time. And in the past, we would acknowledge the prizes, but we never really said, okay, hey, try to give between 2 and 4, just because of the nature of what the Valley Indy is. It's not like we have an organized group of donors who we can, attack a certain goal. We're just kind of catch as catch can. But I just kind of dawned on me, because I'm a moron, people like to participate in the prizes. They like the idea of throwing $10 at a nonprofit and then possibly seeing 10 other people throw $10 at a nonprofit, and then all of a sudden that nonprofit gets an extra $500 or $1,000 thanks to these sponsored prizes. So I sort of get it now. I never really.
We have to gamify it more.
Yeah, gamify, right? Future. What is that? What we were saying last night? Predictions markets, something like that.
I think you brought that up, but yeah, predictions markets.
I love that. The gambling is now called a prediction market. There's Mark Anthony Izzo, Derby legend. He was for the Valley Gazette in the Derby time. And Mark, I've been doing this for too long, but he's a photographer and lives in Derby, and took my most treasured photo of my son when he was young. I was out on my front lawn mowing my lawn about 100 pounds ago, and my little son was next to me. He would always come out and he would mow the lawn with his little toy lawnmower, and Mark Anthony Izzo took that photo, and I have it to this day. So hope all is well with Mark Anthony Izzo. One of my favorite navel gazings. It's still on Flickr. I could try to search for it right now, but the great thing about photography, it's chronicles generations. So Mark Anthony Izzo came in one time for a special navel gazing, and we just went through just a variety of photos he had taken in Derby, and I guess it was primarily the 80s, right? Maybe was it the 70s too, but I think it was primarily like the 80s, and he was kind of narrating and providing a context to each photo. It was just kind of cool. So, and it's one of those things that every once in a while I like to go to our Flickr page. That's another one if you could find it. Back in the day, we couldn't really host photo galleries. I mean, we still don't do photo galleries, but photo galleries were a big. I came from News Times at Danbury, and I was their online editor, and the publisher was like, hey, we'll give you a bonus if you can reach these page view goals each month, and I was like, oh, geez. And this was in 2005, 2006, where I'm in this newsroom with all these crusty old reporters, right? I was, I was like your age. And, one of the reporters was like, he wouldn't even open his email. He was like, he had worked there for years, did not know how to access his email, right? Great reporter. 10 times the reporter that I am. But so there was this like generational conflict where I'm the online editor and I'm telling reporters who usually come in at like noon, right? Because your deadline was like 9 o'clock. And I'm telling them, hey, we need something on the website by 9:30 a.m. That's when our traffic's high. So they all hated me. They're like, get bent, Driscoll, you whatever. So, but what gets page views? Talking about gaming the system? Photo galleries. So I would just do hey, here's photo galleries. And it still goes on to some extent with the web guys. Like, if you see pictures, like 20,000 pictures of a prom on a new
I was going to say photo galleries still very much exist.
Yeah. Not to like they used to. It's kind of backed off a little bit, but yeah, we would photo galleries galore. So I sort of carried that attitude over when the Valley Indy launched, but we couldn't do photo galleries. So we would use Flickr. my point being, those photos still exist. So there's a little archive. I think it's Valley Indy. If you search Valley Indy Flickr on Gmail, they're all still there. Of course, Flickr it was a good service. You could embed their stuff, and I think they got bought by Yahoo, and then it was just ruined. like anything that we've used, it starts off well, and then they grow, and then they want to charge you $1,000 a month, and then the whole thing falls apart. Cover It Live was another one. It was a live blogging system. We covered, we used to cover sports. We would have, we had that, I think it was $250,000 grant, and we had like 30 grand set aside, and we would just hire freelancers to cover football games, right? So back in like 2009, we were like every single weekend, every Friday and Saturday, covering football games. For a while, Melvin Mason, who was a reporter for the Connecticut Post, and then he lived in Derby. He was a friend of mine. He passed away, unfortunately, but he covered girls basketball. I think we did Derby High School specifically. And I don't know if anything of stuff got read because we were still so new, but Cover It Live was this great, was like this embeddable chat feature, and you could upload photos and stuff like that. And it was before like social media really, really, really took off. So it was just a great service. And then they like charged an arm and a leg for it, and then it got bought by some multinational conglomerate and shuttered.
That sounds just like everything in journalism. Bought by some multinational conglomerate and shuttered.
Yeah, and this was just a tool. Anybody could, it was a free thing. You could use it anywhere, but it was very cool. I remember it was a lot of fun because I think, and I could be wrong here because I'm definitely no sports expert, but at one point, Derby and Ansonia, I don't think they were both in the NVL. And I think when we launched, like 2009 or 2010 or so, the Derby played Ansonia again as part of the NVL, the Naugatuck Valley League. This could be completely wrong. And so it was me and I think Jody Gill covered the big Derby Ansonia game live, using it, Cover It Live. And we were up there in the press box. And I just remember Jody got stung by a bee because the press box was in rough shape at Derby High School in those days. It was like splinter filled and, but there we were, we covered it live. And I don't even know, we might've even done some live streaming video because, you couldn't even live stream from your phone in those days, Jasmine, back in my day. But Jody had found some app that was free and we could kind of use it. So we were doing live streaming in 2009 or so, which was a little early, So it was a lot of fun. It was experimental. And then I kind of, the rough part was, I'm the quote unquote editor. So it would be like Friday, you'd work all day, and then you'd have to hang out and wait for the sports writers to hand in their Ansonia football game story, their Derby football game story. We covered Oxford football or Seymour. Like I would send freelancers to every single game. So, you're talking 1 a.m. and then Saturday it would start all over again. And I finally realized this is sort of nuts and we're not set up for this. And,
there's a reason sports has traditionally been its own desk.
Yeah. So it kind of became a little too much. And so what we did instead, just the quick history of the Valley Indy, we took that money and we hired a third reporter because at one point there were 3 full-time reporters here. We weren't able to sustain that. One reporter, Jody left and she wasn't replaced. So that's kind of, we stopped covering Shelton at that point, right? And Shelton still has they get Hearst coverage through the Daily and the Shelton Herald. I think they do a great job. And then, we laid off Ethan Fry. We couldn't afford to keep him on. And then it was just me for a while, so it was really looking kind of 2023 was looking like, this is the end of it. I thought COVID was definitely going to be the end of it, but actually in this bizarre way, our numbers and everything exploded during COVID, because people were looking for that information. I'm talking about initially during those initial shutdowns where it kind of seemed like the world was ending. I couldn't keep up with what was going on. It was just me in my basement, and I was doing live streams with we had Mayor Loretti of Shelton on, NV, the Naugatuck Valley Health District. And, so those beginning days of COVID were scary and sort of weirdly exciting. It was a strange time, but I don't know if we would have financially been able to do this anymore. So anyway.
Well, on the note of Valley history, I have a small surprise for you, Eugene. While
Uh-oh.
while I was
Wait, hold on. I might, if this is what I think it is, I might have to bring up some. Okay, go ahead. While I was blabbing.
So no. Actually, while we had the interview with
now,
with
if this is
Sarah
not what I
Perez
think it is,
pulled
this
up,
is really going to stink. But
So,
all right, I'm excited.
Nancy Gray
Should we
from
be
the Valley
sharing? Should we
Chamber-
be sharing a screen? Should we think about what we're doing?
I'll share here in a moment.
Okay.
Nancy Gray from the Valley Chamber sent along a few nice photos, and I just wanted to pull them up real quick. Just a neat little throwback.
Oh yeah, that's when I was skinny.
But thank you, Nancy, for sending these along. We have Eugene right here with the tie you were talking about.
Yeah, I wore a
And
tie.
then we have Jody here. But yeah, so
probably
just
should let Jody just be the public face of everything. But I did have to make a quick speech. I don't remember what I said, but yeah, that was a huge honor. And because you're going from like a traditional media outlet to a tiny media outlet. There's like imposter syndrome. You're like, what am I doing? And it felt weird to be with all these established people in the community who do so much good, right? There were a ton of nonprofits in the room that night. So thank you. I thought you were going to say we hit our goal, Jasmine. So
no.
Yeah, I mean, Jasmine.
I said small surprise. And I said, speaking of Valley
But
history.
I could see I was talking and you were like waiting to say, you were like getting excited. I'm like, what is going on over there? And okay, but that's awesome. Yeah, that was really cool. Thanks, Jasmine.
Mm-hmm. And thank you to Nancy for sending those along.
Yeah, thanks for sticking with us too and commenting.
Thank you for your constant presence really throughout this live stream. It's been great.
Thanks to everybody who's supported the Valley Indy so far. We are 95% of goal. Let's push us over the top so I can shut up and stop referencing goals and donate.valleyindy.org and all that good stuff. Also, thank you to everybody who shared this stream. It definitely made a difference. We had 10 shares earlier this morning and we saw a spike in viewership. Thank you very much, because you can't do it alone. It's very if you don't want to or you're not able or whatever in terms of donating, sharing the stream is huge, because we need to overcome the throttling and restrictions that take place being a nonprofit news outlet on Facebook. Rather, they had bad experiences with misinformation and all that stuff, and so small outlets like us have end up getting penalized for years now. Whereas, like your official government channel, that is pushed. You'll see more of that, but the independent sort of we abide by the SPJ code of ethics. ChatGPT says we're fair for the most part. We're kept in the corner. So it's the fact that people shared this, it helps us overcome those hurdles that are placed in front of us.
It takes a village to beat the algorithm. So thank you to everyone who shared.
Right. And you think about it, we have 23,000 followers on Facebook. If everybody gave $2, we could retire. But let's see how what did I say we're doing? We're doing pretty good. It's exciting. 95%. $9,464 raised. Thank you very much to everyone who's contributed to the cause. I am sharing this, right?
Yep.
I'm seeing like my vision's getting blurry. We had Ralph, and I got to break out my glasses. Ralph and Margaret Falbo. We know that name. Thank you very much. Thank you to Jean Falbo Sosnovich for spreading the word through her network of spies, communists, and ne'er-do-wells. We very much appreciate that, Jean Falbo Sosnovich. Art and Patsy Gherkins, fellow Derby residents. They have their dog loves my dog, and my dog loves their dog. So whenever Patsy is walking her dog past our house, their dog, why can't I remember their dog's name? Odie? I can't remember. That's I'm having a senior moment here. But the dog tries to get into our yard and into our house to see my dog. And it's always very cute, though painful for any member of the Gherkins family who's Dobie. That's the name, Dobie, who's walking Dobie. We had an anonymous donation, and then Tammy Burrell with a donation. Thank you very much. And then previously mentioned Nick and Pat Tarasovic. I think Pat Tarasovic was the person who nominated us to get that. We saw those humiliating photos of me. Thank you, Pat. I'm getting embarrassed like 10 years later, but I very much appreciate it. So that's that. What's up, Jasmine? Are you ready for lunch? I'm starving.
I'm ready for lunch.
Yeah. We're sort of we're almost into the home stretch here. We're very close to making our. Oh yeah, I
An
see.
exciting
Okay.
afternoon ahead. But sorry, what's up?
No, I'm just saying I see where the photos arrived, and I was checking my email real fast. I guess we can do real fast. Let's see. I mean, the state budget was allegedly passed, right? Whatever those Hartford. I like how the Hartford lawmakers always make a big deal about staying up one day a year. To me, it's always like, why is it so dysfunctional? In order for legislators to legislate, they have to be deprived of sleep. It seems like it's almost like, it's like those GoFundMes you see where we're like, hey, come support this medical, raise money for a medical condition. It's kind of like, well, what's wrong with healthcare that we have to resort to GoFundMe? Sometimes those staying up all night things, just as an ignoramus, it seems like an indication of dysfunction, right? I don't know if that's true or not. But I was saying, like yesterday, we have a pretty decent. If you go to the our Facebook or our YouTube page, it's youtube.com/ValleyIndy, and you click on our subscriptions. We have like a pretty good collection of all the news outlets in Connecticut that are on YouTube, and I'm just trying to see if there's anything local on there. I realize I'm not sharing it, but I'm looking through. And I'm not really seeing anything. I thought like this Ansonia stuff, but maybe there's, they went so late, the Ansonia fuel cell bailout, maybe that'll make the next round.
Right.
Jasmine and I were talking off air, like we were kind of becoming increasingly depressed because this is, it's stuff we're missing because we're here. But it's looming, we're not going to be working tomorrow. I mean, I'm going to have to work tomorrow, because we have a freelancer going to Seymour ZBA. That story is going to be handed in 1 p.m. tomorrow is the deadline, and I'll edit that and try to get it online at some point. Our traffic, by the way, like just craters after noon on Fridays. It's just the way it is.
I'll be reading it. Maybe I'll check it after it's uploaded. Just a quick last check for typos.
Yeah, but we're trying to, obviously, like, it's Ansonia, as it was during the last Great Give too. So that's a lot of pressure on Jasmine. But I don't expect Jasmine to work. She's obviously put in 20 hours yesterday, and it'll be another 20 hours today.
Next week is going to be an interesting week for. There's a zoning board of appeals meeting on Monday where Burns construction, that whole rock crushing issue is going to be a topic that gets discussed there. It's been contentious in the past. It's resurfaced recently. And then it's time to figure out what happened with Ansonia and the state budget.
And it's, one thing, to figure out what happened with Ansonia and the state budget. We'll have a state legislator on at 5 p.m. to talk about that. But what's interesting is, I'm looking at sort of the news reports from the TV news on YouTube, and, it sort of demonstrates the challenge of living in the Naugatuck Valley, and specifically the towns we cover, because, the whole reason we exist is because there was this perception among people in the valley that they didn't really get dedicated news coverage, because the way the valley is, like Waterbury gets a lot of coverage, and Bridgeport and New Haven, and then you have 140,000 people of the lower Naugatuck Valley who tend to not get as much coverage. And it's demonstrated right now because we know something happened with the Ansonia fuel cell, and we've seen bits on Twitter, and we did read a story earlier. So I guess CT Mirror, God bless them, just won a Pulitzer, and they've provided some coverage. But it's, it's not anywhere. I'm scrolling through, and it's car into a house, person shot, person hit by a car, arrest made in a deadly shooting. I'm not seeing anything about issues of public import that matter to the people of the Naugatuck Valley anywhere. And I'm actually kind of surprised, because I was like, oh, this will be we can kill 15 minutes by watching a news video about a local issue, but I don't see it. Thanks, Jasmine. What's up? Are you still over there? I can't see you.
Yeah, I'm still here.
Right,
I was enjoying the dead air. I was relaxing in it, meditating.
Yeah, I appreciate that. All right, let's see. We search YouTube by Ansonia. Let's look this week. How many Ansonia videos? And how are they not all the Valley Indy? That's the other thing I don't really get. Hot air balloon tours all over the place, but I don't see anything. Our stuff. is not making it.
You know what we need for the dead air? We need like one of those subway surfers, like the clips that people put into TikToks or whatever. Just have one of those going in the side at all times. Just always have, or like those videos of people jumping around in Minecraft doing random parkour.
Half of Valley YouTube is just oh wait, here's something. Okay, this is the first one. This is 12 views. It's from 5 days ago. It's a minute long. Actually, this is something we got a press release about this, and I don't know what the heck it was talking about.
The screen share is still on the Greek.
Oh no, I just went back. Yeah, I'm going in there, and I'm going to share this tab instead. So this is HB House Bill 5583, an act concerning conveyance of parcels of state land in the town of Derby. City, I guess it's a coterminous town and city. But let's take a look at what this is. I know it has to do with the downtown redevelopment zone. Oh, I'm already sharing. Whew.
Representative Rochelle from the 104.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise in strong support of this bill. This is a series of parcels of lands related to the Route 34 widening project in downtown Derby on Main Street. Now that the state investment into this widening has been completed, all of these parcels of land can be conveyed back for economic development. Derby is an economically distressed municipality, and the downtown development is critical to the economic success.
So real quickly, it sounds like land that was Derby's, and then the state took possession of it in order to expand the road, and now it's given back.
This sounds procedural so far.
Yeah.
Of the city going forward. So this step is a pivotal step in the quest for further economic stability for the community. And I'm particularly pleased that the Connecticut Municipal Development Authority will be taking the lead and taking the reins. Otherwise this money would be coming out of Derby's taxpayers' pockets. We are so pleased that the
still taxpayer money. That's an important distinction there. Sometimes we get tricked into using the word like grant a lot. Still taxpayer money.
That the legislative body in Derby opted into CMDA, and that CMDA will be helping out with this so that we can move into Derby forward. Thank you.
Will you remark further on the bill as amended?
Okay, that was that. We have one gentleman asleep.
Well, they were up all night.
I don't know when this. Well, this is from 5 days ago.
Oh, well,
this is
okay.
before they pulled the all-nighter. But
hibernating in preparation for.
We will have. So we're gonna go dark and grab lunch, and then when we return at 1 p.m., Derby Mayor Joseph DiMartino and the Finance Director Brian Hall will be on. And I'm of course going to ask about downtown redevelopment in general, because it's been this thing. I mean, I moved to Derby, and when I rented my apartment on E Street, the landlord was like, he wanted a certain amount, and we were like, can it come down a little? Well, it's like, you don't understand. Route 34 is expanding. We're going to get in an Apple store and a Dave & Buster's and a Whole Foods. Oh, it's all going to be there. And I'm just exaggerating. But it's been discussed for many, there's constantly like, it's going to be the catalyst. It's going to be the catalyst. So we're going to check in with the mayor of Derby to hopefully get a real idea of where the redevelopment project stands along the south side of Main Street, between Main Street and the Housatonic River. One thing they've been working on is there is a giant scrapyard there that the city now has possession of, last I heard, not of the property, not exactly scrapyard, but they need to relocate tenants somewhere. And I imagine it's not easy to relocate a scrapyard in Connecticut's smallest city. So maybe I will end on that note. Again, like, I hate, this is a bad time for us to dip out, but we do have to eat. So if you're still watching, donate.valleyindy.org up until 1 o'clock, and you could qualify us to receive an additional $500 or $1,000. We are very close to our goal.
95% of the way there. So anything that gets us, closer to getting over that hump, super exciting.
Yeah. And what is 10,000? What is that? What is it, like $600? Is that where? I don't know how.
We're $550 or so away.
$550 $50 away.
536 to be exact.
So, you know, if somebody wants to take care of that, we'd appreciate it. You can do $500, and then you get the seen enough to know you've seen too much. So far, the only people that have that badge are Rick Dunn, who doubled that, Tom Harbinson, and then David Salinas, the owner of the cannabis dispensary High People on Pershing Drive, who was our guest last night. I just thought, out of a lark, it's a new industry, it's a new business in Derby. Let's see what that's about.
And we got to be an impromptu focus group on stream last night. That was fun.
Yeah, we got to pick out. Yeah, there's some cannabis infused seltzer coming out, and that was a lot of fun. I don't know if I was quite prepared for that. Maybe that would have been better as an earlier in the day thing, because I know I was dragging by that point. But it was great because he had so much energy and was just like in opinions and was just letting it. What do you like? You like the pink, dark pink? It was a lot of fun. So all right, so we're gonna end this and we're gonna come back at 1 o'clock.